There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
This could end the bro hug. That would be great for you because there is nobody worse at the bro hug than one David Moulton.
And Moulton.
I used to be. 2019, I found my bro hug crew.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like it.
It's up to you now. It's up to you.
I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on this fine Tuesday, the first such one in April in 2020. We are on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting many a place, including the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. They are free. We encourage you to sign up for them. How the heck are you?
I'm good. I got over my one-day coronavirus funk. That was Sunday. And I'm back. It was just kind of a one-day funk.
All right. How'd school go yesterday?
Oh, terrifically. It is, like I said, I've said before, we'll probably skip the first grade. It seems to be going that well. We'll just move right to second.
Have you processed the paperwork with the Lee County School District?
Starting.
I've
applied.
Going to be okay with this?
I'm looking at it this way. I think they're just going to send her there. She's going to look at him and go, I know all these answers. Can I go somewhere where I'm challenged?
Oh, great. One of those. That'll be fantastic.
Well, is my daughter after all, David.
Yeah, they'll love that, especially after the 6-month hiatus. They'll love all the kids that come in thinking they know all the answers. Although you got to figure the first couple months when the teachers and the students finally reconnect, I mean, it is going to be a big love fest. I don't know if anybody's going to go to detention before Columbus Day. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's just going to be, lovey-dovey. Everybody thrilled to see each other.
No, you're right. You're right. The problem is that they're going to have to develop all new relationships with teachers because the teachers that they know will not be their teachers next year, particularly for the little ones. We're going to move to the next grade. I mean, they haven't canceled it yet, but we all know it's just inevitable. I'm to the point now where I'm wondering why some of the school districts are even holding on with some things. Like, I truly am. But then the reason why I think these things and they don't happen, and I know you're going to just cringe when I say this because it's not sports, but I get up in the morning and realize that Marco Island opened 2 of their beaches yesterday. And I went, well, that's probably why we're not making announcements about things being done for the rest of the year. If we keep people on some semblance of hold as to the not knowing, maybe they'll stay in, or maybe they'll just reopen the beaches.
Well, then there is that. Miller and Moulton on this fine Tuesday. 479-5551. That's how you can chime in on whether or not the schools, the beaches, or sports. 479-5551. 479-5551. The Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line.
Let me try that again, David. Tell you what, big announcements yesterday had to take us all by surprise in the world of golf. How's that? Is that better?
Well, you did have that, yes. That too. Some cancellations, some dates in which, it's kind of like beaches opening. We threw some dates out there. Hey, this is when we're going to be open for business. If we're the PGA, the U.S. Open, the Masters, the Ryder Cup, things like that. Although, to me, Mark, the most significant announcement that came out of that yesterday, which is being underreported in my estimation, is the fact that the PGA Tour said we're going to be back in business in mid-June. Now, without spectators, but we've been asking what sport and when is going to dip their toes into the water first. The PGA Tour yesterday said, hey, Jack's tournament, the Memorial, mid-June, book it. We're playing it. No spectators. Be there.
Okay, can we just focus on that? Because there was a lot of sports yesterday of announcements, if you will. The UFC is apparently going to find an island. I don't know if they can negotiate to use Epstein's right now because that seems to be vacant, but maybe they'll find another. You would think there's good. You'd think there's good electronics there, but the PGA Tour announced that they are coming back, and they announced that they're coming back at the Memorial.
Correct. Jack's tournament.
Yeah. Also, the first state, I believe, in the union to shut down.
Ohio.
Right?
Governor Mike DeWine was at the forefront of it, yes. He in California, I think.
Right. And the Ohio governor, when asked in the past couple of days about the NFL starting on time, he simply said, why? I mean, he just kind of gave why does it need to start in September? So I am fascinated with how the Ohio governor is going to handle this publicly. Now, privately, I think he screamed at about 6 staff members yesterday going, they did what? In my state?
Now, hold on, though. We've talked about this. I mean, you can social distance and play golf. I mean, you can.
David, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that this seems to be a state that is still shut down. It's not Florida.
I understand. But first off, look where they're starting. They're starting with Jack Nicklaus's tournament, all right? And I think that's strategic because no one's going to criticize Jack. Let's be honest. No one's going to criticize the sponsor attached to Jack. And since they announced there are not going to be any fans, I mean, they're making the case, okay, come on, it's 9-10 weeks from now. And we're not going to have any fans. And if any of the players who are invited don't want to come, they don't have to come. But we're gonna try this. And you got to remember, they can always 4-6 weeks from now say, yeah, well, we wanted to try it, but it's too soon. But on April 6th, they announced, you know what, 9-10 weeks from now, we're going to try to play at Jack's event in Ohio. It's a smaller field. And we're not going to have any spectators. Jack obviously thinks that it's appropriate. And like I said, no one in the industry is going to criticize Jack.
No, David, I'm not worried about the golf industry. It's the PGA Tour. They don't criticize anything.
Well, and the governor of Ohio is not going to criticize Jack either. I mean, it's Jack.
Okay, he doesn't have to criticize Jack. He can go after the tour. I mean, I would be curious to ask the Ohio governor if he was even consulted about putting a date down. I'm serious. Like, David, first off, I don't care if they're having a golf tournament or not. I'll be ecstatic to watch it. We'll watch all 4 rounds in their entirety. I find it interesting that either the first or second state in the union that said we have to shut everything down. And remember, they did this with, in the coming days, the MAC tournament in Cleveland, the first 4 in Dayton. I mean, they didn't mess around. They wasted 0 time. And they've been pretty adamant in keeping on in Ohio. And yet, the first golf tournament is scheduled to be played where? In Ohio. I find it fascinating, David. To me, whatever way they do it is fine. I totally understand your point. I understand the governor's point. And we don't know where we are in June. But also to schedule something in June seems a little quick right now. I was stunned by the June announcement. Stunned, David.
Well, you got to remember, Jack's living on the east coast of Florida. I mean, they're playing golf every day. And so Jack's thinking to himself, sure, we can't. I mean, well, why can't we play golf 9-10 weeks from now? I mean, we're all playing golf every day. I mean, golf courses are still open in Florida. So
Yeah, and I don't know how Palm Beach is for golf courses, because here more are closing daily. I mean, it just happened to be, I have a ton of friends who are golf pros. 3 courses shut down in the last 48 hours. Mainly because people are testing positive that live at these places.
Okay.
My golf course happens to be open, but I know that 3 others have shut down. So I don't know what Palm Beach is like. I know the East Coast has shut down more than the West Coast as far as golf.
Yeah, because Miami is a hot spot. So that makes sense. But hey, they were going to have to try it somewhere. And we wondered, would it be June or July? But we thought golf and racing would be the first 2 sports to raise their hand and say, you know what, we're going to try it. And I do think, Mark, there's a huge difference between golf and the NFL. If for no other reason, I think Governor DeWine, when he was asked about the NFL, is thinking about having 70+ thousand people at the game also. And that's, I'm guessing, partly why he said why. Why are we doing this? And I don't know if there's any correlation, but clearly television networks are involved in yesterday's announcements. Now, none of the networks commented on it, but there are complications here. I mean, there isn't for the PGA. They've decided they're going to do that in early August. Well, CBS can run the PGA in early August. It's not like they got anything else going on. All right, but the U.S. Open now is the 3rd weekend in September. That's week 2 of the NFL season. And in Fox's case, who televises the U.S. Open, it's also would have been the first day, round 1 of the U.S. Open is their first Thursday night football game. That's if the season starts on time. And so my first thought in looking at this, because the NFL did push when it is they're going to announce their schedule back a month. Instead of it being announced next week, it's going to be announced in the 2nd week of May. And I'm wondering then, is the NFL season going to be pushed back? I mean, because I think these networks are talking to all their leagues. I mean, I think the Masters, the Masters is calling the shots, but CBS is saying, what are you guys thinking? Because we've got contracts and we've got a lot of things we got to do. We got this SEC on CBS thing. We got this NFL thing. We got contracts. Okay, so what is it you're thinking of doing? Because this is going to get sticky for us. And so I don't know what CBS is going to do the 2nd weekend of November. That, to me, is fascinating. Are they not going to run the SEC on Saturday?
Well, I did look. Sorry, David. I looked up sunset times. That was the first thing I did yesterday. When I saw this, and it was a group text with a bunch of friends of mine, and you have to love golf guys, David. Their first thing was about the fall overseeding and the course is going to play softer. I mean, there were 8 texts on the golf course playing softer. That was what their main. Then someone said, "Wow, it'll be really pretty with the colors too." I'm not joking that these were the level of text. And I looked up the sunset, David. So for the Masters, the sunset is 5:26 that Saturday. It just happened to be the date that I put in my phone. So that means that, to me, you're pushing the football games a little later, both on Saturday and Sunday. You could have 5:30 kicks. You realistically could have 5:30 kicks, 6 o'clock kicks, 6:30 kicks on both days, and it wouldn't be much. CBS would have to work with NBC a little bit for the Sunday night game. I get it. Maybe it's a 5:30, and maybe they do one at 9 that week. The SEC, fortunately for that week, David, the schedule isn't it's that bad week. You know the week I'm talking about. Alabama plays like UT Chattanooga or somebody like that. But It is a weekend with Florida, Missouri, LSU, South Carolina, and UGA in Tennessee. Those are your three far and away best games on the SEC schedule. Seems that, I don't know, those Masters folks seem to like it when Georgia plays. Maybe the limos can all go from Augusta right to Athens at sunset for a 7:30 tilt between the Vols and the Dogs.
Is it in Georgia this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Maybe the game gets moved to prime time. But I will say, the other networks, like you're talking about the NFL, they're going to have to move their games back. They ain't moving anything. They ain't moving squats. No way. Honestly, they're laughing. If the NBC's not moving their kickoff.
Okay, I'm asking, would the NFL let CBS move their 4:30 start to 5:30?
Absolutely not. Nope. First off, you'd have kicking and screaming from Fox and NBC, and rightly so. And no, I think they would say to CBS, if the Masters really wants to go past our 4:15 or 4:25 kickoff window, if they don't want to end their third round, in my estimation, Mark, the NFL is saying to CBS, well, you need to negotiate with the Masters and get them to sign off by 4. And if they're not willing to do that, then you're probably not going to show NFL games that day. I don't know what to tell you. And maybe this is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to ESPN. Maybe ESPN's going to run some of CBS's games. Maybe they're all going to be given to Fox. Maybe NBC's going to get to run one Sunday afternoon, a couple of games. But I don't see the NFL for a variety of reasons, and I don't see their other network partners just trying to bend to help CBS here. I don't see that. So
well, the only reason I kind of say it, David, is that they're going to have to do the same thing you would think for Fox for the U.S. Open, and they may have to do it for NBC for the Olympics coming up. I mean, we're throwing the sports world into upheaval, and David, you are far more involved in this than I am. I know that. And the odds are you're right. But maybe, just maybe, for instance, ESPN and the NFL Network are apparently going to do the NFL draft together. Do they want to? Hell no. I mean, they're not the Hatfields and McCoys. They don't hate one another, but they certainly don't want to help one another. But for this year, as you said, are the leagues talking to the networks? They're talking to all their network partners. And I do believe that while Fox and CBS, or rather Fox and NBC may be kicking and screaming, CBS can raise their hand going, I know you are, but Fox, you've got this little U.S. Open thing. And the Olympics are coming up. I think we all need to help one another here. Now, maybe I am just kumbaya and I'm thinking too positively over cutthroat business. But I do think for 1 year there will be some exceptions made. I don't think it will be as cutthroat because I think the other networks at some point are going to need favors of their own.
And I think that CBS is on bended knee to the Masters going, we get it. It doesn't matter what dates you picked. We were going to have these problems. But you think there's any way we could end the rounds by 4? Because we got this thing called the NFL. And I think you understand where we're coming from. All right, and then we'll see whether or not the Masters will do it, or the Masters is like, no, we've got another hour of sunlight. There's a part of me that would think that the Masters might be willing to do it because what if on Sunday we're tied? We need some sunlight to go back out and play sudden death here. Or what is it, 2 holes or whatever the Masters playoff is now. So and with the U.S. Open scheduling, and I know nothing, absolutely nothing, but the first thing I thought of, Mark, when the U.S. Open was rescheduled for that weekend, is the NFL season going to start on time? Or is it going to be pushed back 2 or 3 weeks? Because if it's pushed back 2 weeks, Fox has no conflict. Fox can do the U.S. Open, and then the next week the NFL starts. And that was the first thing I thought of. I go, is this a precursor for 4 or 5 weeks from now when the NFL announces its schedule? They're going to announce that they're going to push it just a little bit, give themselves just a little more time, or is Fox going to be in the same situation as CBS with the Masters, and the NFL is going to go, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Good luck.
And you've already heard the concerns of football people in the NFL for their lack of training camp time. I mean, my goodness, if you thought getting ready for a draft by remote was difficult for these NFL GMs, imagine if they do not have the full amount of days to prepare their teams. It will be Armageddon. And, I mean, the football, the first week will be so bad we won't. That's every year. It doesn't matter whether they practice all summer or not. The first few weeks are really sloppy. You know why? Because none of the flipping starters play.
Right. We've got 15 penalties a game the first month of the season. It doesn't matter when that first month occurs.
Thank you. Enough.
Miller and Moulton. 479-5551, 479-5551. All this scheduling talk is going to lead into our poll question of the day, though. And I think in our backyard, it is a much tougher poll question than it is in a lot of other places of the country.
Oh, nationally, this is an easy question.
Right.
Lee, Collier County, much more difficult question. Quick footnote, David. I did check. I wanted to double check. Every golf course on the east coast of Florida is closed. Palm Beach, Broward, Dade. All three counties. No golf. We got a lot of golf people. They'll all text in and tell us, we don't do the PTI at the end and correct our errors and omissions. If we did, we'd need a whole nother hour just for mine.
That's not true. We usually do it as the show is going on. We usually don't wait to the end.
That's very true. But Palm Beach, Dade, and Broward close their golf courses middle of March for some and then to the end of March for Palm Beach. So they are all close. Open in Lee and Collier.
479-5551, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. When we come back, we will give you that poll question, and we will have the starting five. Today is a Pat Kerwin day. He'll join us a couple hours from now to talk all things NFL, as the draft is just, remember Chuck Woolery's 2-2, Mark? 2-2? We're just 2 weeks and 2 days away from the draft. 2-2. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for waking up with us on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We made it through March Madness, but we're going to answer the question everyone is asking. What TV show is most binge-worthy? The Sopranos? Game of Thrones? Seinfeld? Let your sheltered voice be heard. Fill out the Miller and Moulton binge-worthy bracket at foxsportsfm.com and watch if your show advances. All thanks to France Eye Care, Jimmy P's Chard, Brooks Gourmet Burgers, Kobe Cooling, and your sports, even though there are no sports station. Fox Sports Radio.
Blue Emu deep penetrating and odor-free formula supplies healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Great news, Southwest Florida. Our service and parts departments are open for business. Now's a great time to bring your vehicle in for service. At Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Check. There, that's better.
$299 per month. That's right, $299 per month, and you own it with interest-free financing for 84 months. Qualifying purchases with no payments for 90 days. Almost every 2020 Jeep Wrangler at friends and family below invoice pricing. Best of all, at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers, we offer at-home test drives and at-home delivery at your convenience. That's right, 0% APR financing for 84 months on new Rams, Jeeps, and Dodges. Plus, at-home test drives and at-home delivery. Call today, drive today at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. $29.99 down plus tax, tag, and dealer fee. $299 per month for 84 months at 0% APR. Excludes Rubicon. Offers don't combine.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. miles. And new membership pricing starts as low as $99. Call 239-945-1664 for more information. Or visit TowboatUSCapeCoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure brand, and then try and find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in, when you can deal directly with a local, family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors? My Shower Door is a family-owned and operated business and has the highest ratings on Angie's List and Home Advisor. Want to see more? Go to myShowerDoor.com.
Listen to the Dan Patrick Show at work.
Never boring, that's for sure.
Streaming 24/7 at FoxSportsFM.com. We are Fox Sports.
At Naples Nissan, the answer is yes. Yes, we're open, and you can still get the original base MSRP for your trade-in. Yes, your new Nissan will come with a full tank of gas for the next year and our exclusive unlimited mile lifetime warranty. And yes, absolutely yes, our entire team is fully committed to doing everything we can to help keep our entire Southwest Florida community healthy and safe. If your trade-in is less than 8 years old with less than 80,000 miles on it, we'll still pay you what you paid for it so you can drive home in a brand new, disinfected Nissan today. That's right, folks. Every new Nissan that leaves our lot will be treated with our long-term antimicrobial sanitizer. It's like a flu shot for your car. Plus, a full tank of gas on us for the next year. To learn more about everything we're saying yes to, come see us on Pine Ridge Road or visit NaplesNissan.com. Yes, offers are on select models with approved credit, and yes, they can be combined.
There will be parties again soon, and family gatherings. There'll be parades and sporting events and concerts. To help our communities when they come back together, respond to the 2020 census now. Spend a few minutes online today to impact the next 10 years of healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Respond online today to make America's tomorrow brighter. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Attention! Attention! Have you recently questioned your safety? These are chaotic times, and these are normal feelings. What can you do to feel safe and confident? Visit the Alamo Range in North Naples. Inquire about their training classes to help you be a confident marksman and ask to be shown around by one of the staff. Notice its cleanliness and selections. Visit the Alamo and discover a new rewarding pastime. The Alamo Gun Range of Naples. Naples' premier indoor gun range and firearms superstore. AlamoRange.com.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton.
No.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
.28 on this first Tuesday in April. Last night would have been the college basketball national championship game. This would be Masters Week. I don't know how many people in these parts turned on the Golf Channel. I know I did last night just to see, so what the heck are they doing? Are they replaying old Masters or what have you? And they're kind of, sort of, they got Rich Lerner who's standing on a golf course in Florida and taping a bunch of stuff leading into past Masters. It's not, full-on highlights, but little snippets. And so I watched Ed Snead's 1979 collapse again last night, where he bogeyed the last 3 holes to blow a 3-shot lead and then missed a 8-footer for the win on the first playoff hole before Fuzzy made his putt as a rookie, the only rookie still, outside of the first Masters, to win the Masters. So, would have been Masters Week this week. Instead, Mark, it's going to be in November. How about that?
It is something. There is no doubt that is. Like I said, David, the course will be overseeded. It'll play very soft. Numbers should be low, and I think you'll see pin placements that you don't normally see at Augusta because of the overseeding and the fact that the greens may be just a tad slower.
Look at you. Look at you. Breaking it down here. Some 7+ months away from the Masters. The first breakdown of the 2020 Masters came on Miller and Moulton. Speaking of the Masters, Isn't that going to be in our poll question?
It is. It is, David. And it's very simple. On that third Sunday in November, what the hell?
That's the kind of year it's been. That's the kind of year it's been.
I gotta regroup and start that again. On the third Sunday of November, week 10 of the NFL season, week 11 of the college football season will have just ended. What will you be watching on Sunday if only allowed to watch one? The NFL or Sunday at Augusta?
That's our poll question. Final round of the Masters or the National Football League. You can only watch one. What is it that you will be watching come Sunday, November 15th? And the reason that we know that that will be the final round of the Masters is what is included coming up next in our starting five.
The starting five.
5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton Starting 5.
Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
But before we get to the golf scheduling and rescheduling, Mr. Tiger passed away yesterday. Al Kaline at his Bloomfield Hills home in Michigan. He was 85 years old. His career is remarkable. And so many aspects of it, the likes of which it's tough to imagine we will ever see again. First off, he was signed the day after he graduated high school. And because of the rules at the time and when he was signed, he did not go to the minors. In fact, he couldn't. And so he was appearing in the major leagues just days after graduating high school. And he had to play, the rules at the time said if you signed someone that early and gave them the bonus money that they gave them. And by the way, the Tigers always claimed they gave him $35,000. All right, Al Kaline, much later on in his life, said, well, they gave me $15,000 up front, and then they gave me a $6,000 bonus each of my first 2 years. So Al said that basically it added up to $27,000, but the Tigers wanted the word out there that, hey, we're offering him $35,000 because they wanted to scare everybody else off. So he signs the day after he graduates high school, and he's in the majors. And, Mark, he had a tough time his first 2 years in the majors because at the age of 20, he won the batting title. The youngest ever to do so in the history of the game. He hit a mere .340, which was 23 points higher than the second-place finisher that year. That's how his career started. He would play 22 years, all of them with the Tigers, in which in those 22 years he was an 18-time All-Star. He had 3,007 hits. He hit 399 home runs. I believe he hit 2 home runs in games that were later wiped out by rain. And also he hurt his shoulder with 3 weeks left in his final season, and that's why he didn't homer during the final weeks of his career. He also was taken out midway through his final game. And Tiger fans held it against the organization for a long time, not realizing that Al knew he couldn't homer because of his shoulder. And so he asked, I think Ralph Houck was his manager. He basically said, hey, take me out. I can't go anymore. But Mr. Tiger, 3,007 hits, 399 homers, a .297 lifetime batting average, yet despite his prowess as a hitter,
many fielder.
Feel he was. Yes,
he was a better fielder, David. No.
And
it's not an argument, and I'm not joking. You talk to old, and he's basically before my time. I saw Al Kaline. I saw him play in '74, but I barely remember being at the game. The only thing I remember of that game, that's when my parents left my blanket at the hotel. And the only way they were able to convince me not to go into mass hysteria over my blankie was the fact that they told me that they had to give it to Al Kaline, who then had to give it to his son, and all was forgiven. That's a true story. The Troy Hilton is where my parents would always stay when we would go down for a game. But I was reading something yesterday from, I think it was Mike O'Hara, the longtime Lions beat writer, saying the best thing about Al was watching him at the end of batting practice, not hitting, when he was out in the field, that he would, from the outfield, would throw balls to second, third, and home from right field. 2 or 3 to each base. And he said they were lasers, and they were strikes, one after another. And that was always, to him, the best part of Al, was watching him throw those practice throws in warm-ups.
Many people believe the greatest catch in the history of what is considered the original Yankee Stadium before the redesign in '74 was made by Al Kaline, robbing Mickey Mantle of a home run. And there are a lot of folks that believe that the statue of Kaline there at, is it
Comerica?
Comerica? Is because it's not of him hitting. Here's a guy with 3,000 hits, a batting title, 399 home runs. The statue of Kaline, I believe at Comerica, is of him making a leaping catch. It's of him fielding. That's the statue of him at Comerica. And there are a lot of people that believe that that's the closest thing to replicating the catch he made robbing Mantle of a home run at Yankee Stadium in right center field, is that statue. Right there, Mr. Tiger, who late in his career but got a chance in what was for him an injury-plagued '68 season. In fact, he was the 4th outfielder for the Tigers for much of 1968, was not playing well at the end of the year, and had said publicly before the World Series, I should not be playing in the World Series. And the Tigers moved one of their outfielders to shortstop to get Kaline in the lineup because we didn't have the DH yet. And Al had a big World Series.
Yeah, he hit 379, David.
With like 6 extra base hits. He had the Tigers trailed 3-1 in that series and were trailing in Game 5. Kaline had a 2 RBI hit to put the Tigers up for good. They never trailed in the rest of the series. He had a huge hit in Game 7. And so Al only got to play in 1 World Series, but he made it count. He had a big World Series, led the Tigers. Him along with Lolich were probably the 2 stars in their '68 World Series win. So Al Kaline, Mr. Tiger, spent a long time as a broadcaster, and then
how many of us
in the front office.
That's how many of us remember him. I mean, that was my guy. It was George Cal and Al Kaline on TV for my youth and into my young adulthood. That was, 84 was George Cal and Al Kaline calling games on TV, that for most of us, a magical season of the Detroit Tigers where they started out 35-5. And that was Al being able to talk about '68 and bring that to a generation that wasn't around for it.
And I don't like to speak out of turn, but I'm pretty sure that, Gary and I have had many long talks about a lot of things on the road. And, Al was his guy.
Had to be.
Growing up in Michigan. And, as quarterbacks go, Namath was his guy. Always said he just, as a teenager watching Joe, he just thought he was the coolest guy. But that Mr. Tiger, growing up, that was his, the best athlete at the time when he was growing up. And then Al Kaline was his guy.
So it came up yesterday when these things do happen, David. We talked about it with Boston. It's not as great of a list as Boston, but the Mount Rushmore in Detroit doesn't suck. Howe, Sanders are everybody's guarantees. Then after that, you got Kaline. I think he has to go on it.
You go Kaline over Cobb?
Well, do you go Kaline and Cobb is the question. And does Yzerman and Isaiah Thomas, do they miss out? Hank Greenberg, does he miss out?
Right. No, it's good. You got all-time greats there who don't make it. It's not Boston's Mount Rushmore.
But Miguel Cabrera, who had a Triple Crown, doesn't even get mentioned for this.
No. He has to. Right. He has to pay admission to go see these monuments. Absolutely.
Right. So it's not Boston's, but it can look at it and go, hey, we're good. We're right here.
Yeah, it's good. It's rock solid. So Mr. Tiger passing away peacefully at his home yesterday at the age of 85. We mentioned it, golf, in what seemed a very coordinated announcement. The day started with the British Open announcing what had been reported earlier, that yes, we are canceling the 2020 Open Championship. And Mark, I had mentioned a week ago there's a little bit of a dilemma for the R&A because 2021 was supposed to be their 150th Open Championship, and they obviously want that at the home of golf, St. Andrews. So what they did was they pushed everybody back a year. Next year's Open Championship will be at Royal St. George's, and then the 150th will be in 2022, and that will be at the home of golf, St. Andrews. The Ryder Cup ends up remaining exactly where it was scheduled. The last weekend of September, it's at Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. So, but now the week before the Ryder Cup is going to be the U.S. Open at Wingfoot, which is 29 miles northeast of New York City, and it is September 17th through the 20th is when the U.S. Open will take place. The PGA, it had long been rumored that they were going to try to play one of the 2 weeks that the Olympics had given up. Well, sure enough, they're at the very end of that 2-week window. They're going August 6th through 9th. This is on a public golf course in San Francisco, and that's when the PGA is going to be. And the Masters, you know, it had been talked about October, November 12th through the 15th. That's when the Masters is going to take place, November 12th through the 15th. Now, PGA Tour, the one announcement they made officially, Mark, is that they pushed their FedEx Cup and their Tour Championship back a week. They're going to play those 4 events, but instead of being done before Labor Day weekend, the Tour Championship is now going to end Labor Day weekend. So they're going to play their FedEx Cup. I mean, with that type of sponsorship money, you knew if there were only 4 PGA Tour events that were going to get played the rest of the year, it was going to be those 4. Now, we had talked about in our first segment that Golf Digest reporting that the PGA Tour is going to resume in mid-June at the Memorial. For the record, the Memorial commented to the Columbus Post-Dispatch and said, yeah, that report is false. We can tell you that is unequivocally false. Golf Digest is standing by their report, but the Memorial made sure to reach out to the Columbus Dispatch and say, we are, quote, vehemently disputing, unquote, the report. The Memorial, they would say, is doing everything in its power to make sure the event is postponed and not canceled. Apparently, the PGA Tour sent out a memo in which it states in mid-June, all right, that, you know, a PGA Tour event. They don't list which one, but that is when they are thinking they would really like to resume sometime in mid-June, beginning with the week that would have been the U.S. Open week. So that's all that took place in the world of golf yesterday. Jameis Winston got married yesterday, and Antonio Brown hired yet another agent to try to get back into the NFL. The 31-year-old wide receiver desperately trying to get back into the league. He's not reinstated, is he? I mean, if somebody signed him...
No.
Yeah, he's not back in the good graces of the league.
No.
And with all the things on their docket, do you really think they're going to spend a whole lot of time on AB? Do you think they want AB back in the league?
No.
No.
I don't. I don't think they want Holden Smith back in the league.
Right, and he's yet to be reinstated.
No. At least he has a case now from sobriety, supposedly, that, you know, and I don't know. He says he's clean and sober. I don't know. I'll believe him at his word for now. If that's the case, his path is a lot more clear to get reinstated than AB's.
Cowboys signed him to a 1-year, $4 million deal last week. He hasn't played in the league in 5 years.
Right. And he has a clearer path to play this season than Antonio Brown, in my opinion. And I don't think it's close.
All right. By the way, one other person for the Detroit Mount Rushmore. How about Joe Louis? I think Joe Louis makes the list.
I mean, they did name an arena after him.
Well, and a little more than that.
Well,
also.
I mean, when you don't, but I mean, when
Iconic
you're at the point when buildings are named after you, you've
Right.
passed sports icon, haven't you?
Right, absolutely.
No, that I wasn't talking about. Obviously, is boxing. I mean, that and I do love the fist. I do just love when you go by the General Motors building. There's the big fist out there.
So I would think Lewis would have to make the Mount Rushmore of Detroit sports. And that, Mark, is...
The starting five. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton's Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
At 14 minutes before 7 o'clock. 479-5551, 479-5551 is the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Our poll question, okay, Sunday, November 15th, you can only watch one, the NFL or the final round of the Masters. What are you watching? That's our poll question. At that, Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter. I'll retweet it here in a moment. Or you can go to millerandmoulton.com and vote. Thanks so much for listening. We are Miller and Moulton. This is Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome to the program.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
He's the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians. Now, how do you work with Brady remotely?
It's going to have to be creative. You know, the beautiful thing of technology now, being able to have everything on computers, and it's a lot easier for a really smart guy to learn something new than 20 other average learners to learn something else. And it's a lot easier for Tom just to switch some verbiage.
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
I got something here.
Welcome to Jimmy P's Chard.
I got
As you
something
enter
here.
Through the front doors, you'll know that you've arrived in the finest steak and chop house
David.
in Southwest Florida.
I
All
got
cuts
something here.
expertly cut at their very own butcher shop.
I gotcha. I heard you.
Butcher block to table experience. 3 generations of mastering Wagyu beef, heritage Berkshire pork, poultry, lamb, and veal. The mood of Chard's nostalgic dining area is upbeat, high energy, and casual sophistication. A friendly and relaxed place, not fancy or stuffy. Chard's staff works hard to make you feel at home. Come in and unwind. Enjoy an exquisite glass of wine or perhaps a handcrafted beer with your perfectly charred steak. Afternoon or evening, it's going to be a wonderful experience at Chard. Jimmy P's Chard on South US 41 in Bonita Springs. Jimmy P's Butcher Shop on Old US 41 in Bonita Springs. Online at jimmypschard.com. Welcome to Jimmy P's Chard. Stop in today and tell them Jimmy sent you.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new membership pricing starts as low as $99. Call 239-945-1664 for more information. Or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Your old pool pump is an energy hog and likely your second greatest user of electricity. We'll install a new Pentair energy-efficient pump, saving you over $500 a year. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Like Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio on Facebook. Facebook.com/Fox Sports SWFL.
We're on the phone with our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tec to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tec for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tec in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec Stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec Wood. Look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
Do you own a home with a tile or shingle roof? Do you live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson with Williamson Brothers Roofing. If you answered yes to either question, it's very likely your roof suffered damage from Hurricane Irma that's not visible from the ground, and you may very well be entitled to a new roof for little or no money out of pocket. But you only have a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us at 239-283-2013. It's a free, no-obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you. Call us at 239-283-2013. Again, time is running out. Call us at 239-283-2013. Williamson Brothers Roofing specializes in the claims process. We have experts standing by. We get claims approved. 239-283-2013.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Minutes before 7 o'clock. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. And if you ever miss any part of the show, well, that's where Connecticut and the Connecticut casts come in. Every hour of the show gets its own podcast. We call them Connecticut casts because they are brought to you by Connecticut, Quality Water Systems of Southwest Florida. Their revolutionary reverse osmosis system gives them the best water in the business, and you don't have to be racing to the store for bottles of water when you have Connecticut. 908-2300.
David, did you this is the baseball hour. Right. And that is something that, well, we try to stick, we try to do the baseball thing here in the morning. But this is not necessarily baseball, but it has a baseball theme. Did you catch what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers called their pursuit of Tom Brady? What the code name was around the Bucs office?
The code name?
Yeah, they had a code name for it inside the office. So if they were talking about it, nobody knew what they were talking about.
So is this like Blue Horseshoe loves Endicott Steel?
Exactly like it. 100% like it.
Okay. What was it?
It was Operation Shoeless Joe Jackson. John Spytek is the director of player personnel for the Bucs. He is a former Brady teammate at Michigan. He came up with the idea. One, he's a huge fan of the movie Field of Dreams. That's obvious. But they needed something to be able to talk about so that other people in the office didn't have a clue what it was. And he kept telling Jason Licht, go the distance. Go the distance. Is what he would keep telling it. He says, if we build it, he will come. That was his thing. And so they finally get their first phone conversation with Brady. It's it's Arians, and I believe they're at Arians' house. And they had already talked to the agent, so they're doing a conference call, and this is when Brady starts talking about specific players on the Bucs team, specific members of the defense, what Todd Bowles did in the second half. And it was at that point that they said, Licht looked over at Arians and gave a thumbs up, because Licht didn't think he was getting him. Arians was optimistic. Jason Licht did not, was pessimistic on the Tom Brady thing. And that was the moment in that conversation in which Operation Shoeless Joe Jackson.
I like it.
It's fantastic.
Nice. Bucs unveil their new jerseys at 1 o'clock today. I think it's 1 o'clock. Maybe it's 11. But they unveil their jerseys later today. Their big reveal. And so the early word is that it's going to be something that is much similar to the jerseys during the Dungy era. That they're going back to that. And that they'll have, for their retro jersey, it'll be the creamsicle. But don't know if while Brady's there, if we'll see the creamsicle. But that's the word. We'll see if it's correct, and we'll see if merchandise starts flying off the shelves.
Look we can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. All we can really do is get a Tom Brady Bucs jersey and start wearing it around.
Well, I mean, think about this. To the Bucs fan out there, when's the last jersey you bought? Was it a Jameis jersey? Some didn't like them, didn't want them. Was it a Mike Evans jersey? What's the last, if you're a Bucs fan, what's the last jersey you bought? And so you probably haven't bought one in 3+ years. And now you're excited. So, yeah, I think we'll see a ton of them.
For the record, I did ask my wife if I was allowed to get my daughter a Tom Brady Bucs jersey.
Right.
I'm guessing
the answer
was not even met with a response, just a dirty look. My Catholic wife, who swears she will not divorce me, said that would be the closest way to it.
Well, it's good to know what the line is.
You
know,
David, you're damn right it is.
Mark, it's kind of like when you get a car and it says E. Well, you have to really find out what's E. I mean, you do. Do I only have 8 miles left? Do I have 15? Do I have 2? I mean, you've got to test that out. It's the same thing with a relationship. So what do you think? Tom Brady, Buccaneer, I got season tickets. Come on.
I'm
what do you
getting
say?
Maddie a jersey.
Right. She's going to be 6 this football season. And when the wife looks at you like, yeah, he'll always be a Patriot.
30 seconds.
Right.
Okay.
She had no problem with me getting the tickets. Like, there was not a dirty look for the Bucs season tickets. I dropped decent money on these. She was not at all upset. The moment I mentioned a jersey for her daughter, it was over. Done.
Right. Yep. Iconic player. Good-looking one at that. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports! Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure...
There's this button on my settings that says sync clock. It works.
That's funny.
Sync
clock. All right, good to know.
I do it every day now.
Smart speaker.
Are we cheering for idiots? What's going on?
Sounds more like a dumb speaker, am I right?
You're an idiot. Nice job.
Get
Eric
Florida
Brett.
Sports Talk
Wow.
Your speaker.
This is easy.
Just say, Alexa,
hello.
Play Fox Sports FM on 2.
Well, first off, I'm too old to wear a jersey, so I'll never wear one. And my daughter's allowed to wear one jersey. That is a Heath Miller Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. That's it. Unless they draft somebody else by the name of Miller.
Gourmet Burgers and Dogs is the obvious choice. Voted #2 in the nation by TripAdvisor, Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs does it right. Owner Todd Brooks and his staff are committed to providing the best burger experience and superior customer service. With favorites like the Donut Burger, which is a handcrafted burger between 2 glazed donuts and topped with American cheese and bacon, Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs are truly building the dream one burger at a time. 4 locations: downtown Naples, Vanderbilt Beach and 41, on the East Trail at 951 and 41, and their newest location in Logan Landings on Immokalee Road in North Naples. See why Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs deserves your vote today. Online at brooksburgers.com. Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs, building the dream one burger at a time.
I'm Todd Brooks and I approve.
So what do we have here?
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 103.3 Fox Sports Radio. We are Fox Sports. Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com. There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
This could end the bro hug. That would be great for you because there is nobody worse at the bro hug than one David Moulton.
And Moulton.
I used to be. 2019, I found my bro hug crew.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it. Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
And as we approach a couple minutes past the top of the hour, thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. We stream this and every show on the station at foxsportsfm.com. Very easy to remember, foxsportsfm.com. That's where you also go to vote in our binge TV watching brackets. Beginning to move through the rounds, presented by Brooks Gourmet Burgers, Jimmy P's Chard, France Eye Care, and Kobe Cooling. So foxsportsfm.com for that. You can chime into the show by calling or texting in to the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line, 479-5551, 479-5551. Our poll question, that Mark Miller on Twitter, the David Moulton on Twitter, or millerandmoulton.com. So Sunday, November 15th, looks as if it's going to be decision time for many a sports fan. What are you watching? The final round of the Masters or the NFL? And in our poll question, we say you can only watch one. So which is it? And right now, Mark, it is split 50-50.
That means,
right smack down the middle.
Yeah, that means that the Masters has made a strong push recently because it started out all football all the time. This is to me a fascinating poll question. One, because we can watch both. It's the world we live in. But two, Twitter's a touch younger. We are so heavy golf. Like
right.
I have a lot of
older.
I have a lot of friends that are on Twitter. They're all golf people. They're all younger than me. They're all voting Masters. So I am truly fascinated by what this poll gives us in this market. You know, here, St. Pete, Palm Beach. This is a fascinating question to me. Everywhere else in the country could not care less.
And we could, in theory, Mark, bring this question back in 5 or so weeks because right now it's just a generic NFL versus generic final round of the Masters. Now, obviously, if certain players are in contention in the final round of the Masters, that would dramatically alter the vote. But also, we don't have an NFL schedule in front of us. Like, what if it's Brady Breeze? You know, what if a game on Sunday is, you know, Bucs Saints? Or it
better be a road game.
I believe the Bucs play both Green Bay, Brady Rodgers, and I believe they play KC for Brady Mahomes.
I mean, and I know it's a lesser game, but Minnesota, just from fan bases down here, Green Bay and Vikings fan bases are rabid in Southwest Florida.
And so, you know, we don't have a specific NFL game or games. I mean, that's just dealing with the Tampa Bay Bucs, never mind anybody else. I mean, you know, these quarterbacks are going to go, and if they go to certain teams, I mean, how many people all of a sudden suddenly going to have some interest in the Cincinnati Bengals because they've really liked Joe Burrow in the last 6 months? If Tua ends up in Miami, and what if by November he's playing? You know, and even though the Dolphins are probably not in contention for anything, still a quarterback to be excited about again. If you're a Dolph fan, and would that change your answer to this poll question? So we don't have a specific NFL game or games. It's just, hey, standard week in the NFL or a typical final round at Augusta. Which would get your vote, your TV, if you will?
And I love me some NFL football, David. You know Sundays have passed Saturdays in my world.
I know.
I never
thought that would happen.
You and I have flip-flopped in the time we've known one another. You were a Sunday guy when we started. I was a Saturday guy, and it wasn't close. And I still love Saturday. You still love Sunday. But our affinity has switched. And mine may be the biggest reason is that college football games just last so damn long. I'd rather go to a college game anytime, except for my Bucks this year. But generally, I'd rather go to a college game than a pro game. But, you know, the worst quarterback that's going to come to Tampa this year, as long as the Chargers get Cam Newton and or a draft pick, will be Teddy Bridgewater. Jared Goff.
Well, come on. Jared Goff took a team to a Super Bowl.
That was for you,
mean,
David.
was for... Thank you. No, Mark, believe me, I appreciate it very much.
But, I mean, you've got Atlanta, Matt Ryan. You've got Carolina with Teddy. You got Breeze, Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Mahomes, Goff, and whoever the hell's going to start for the L.A. Chargers.
That's who's coming to One Bucks Place there?
Yes.
That's not bad. Fox is thrilled with that schedule. And CBS both. Wait a minute. You telling me, so Mahomes is coming to Tampa?
That's a CBS game.
Oh, that's Nance Romo got written all that. Hell, that could be Al and Chris.
Or it could be a Thursday night game.
A Thursday night game in Tampa? Oh, my goodness.
If there's a Thursday night game in Tampa, let's just say here, David, football's played, and there is a Thursday night game in Tampa, would they get you a hotel if you wanted?
Sure.
We could conceivably do the show Friday morning from Tampa.
We could do it Thursday morning from Tampa.
Why would we do that?
I'm just saying, if you wanted to know about a hotel, I'm saying they would actually give me Wednesday and Thursday night.
I got you. I was figuring the show on Thursday, round of golf, drive up to the game. Sorry, I was just doing this personally. But no, I mean, we could conceivably be doing the show Friday morning from Tampa, post Mahomes and Brady. Now, I mean, it is fun to say that because whether or not that happens, we couldn't have said this months ago.
No.
We couldn't have even said Thursday night football in Tampa Bay without laughing at one another.
In fact, we were walking out of a stadium. When I say we, it was Joe and Troy and the rest of us. And there was a Bucks fan who asked Troy for an autograph. And he obliged. I mean, we were moving, but he gave the whole walking autograph and gave it to him. Hey, thanks, bud, that sort of deal. And so the fan then asked Joe a question and said, hey, when do you think you're going to do a Bucks game again? And Joe said, well, they probably need to start winning first. And I don't think that was last year. I think it was my first year with him, so it was 2 years ago. And so now, I mean, the thought of the Bucks getting a Thursday night home game, whoo-wee. And it not being a throwaway game. You know, like Jacksonville got a Thursday night home game last year. It was very early in the season. It was only on NFL Network. You know, not the throwaway Thursday
Yeah, against
game.
Tennessee.
Exactly.
We know when Jacksonville's on. It's NFL Network against Tennessee.
Second week in September, too. Right. I mean, you know, not the throwaway game like they give ESPN the throwaway Houston Texans playoff game. No, not that game. We're talking about a good game, one that's going to attract an audience, if you know what I mean.
David, there is only one realistic throwaway game on the entire Bucs schedule. At Detroit.
Well, I don't know with Matthew Stafford.
I know. And then at Vegas. But Vegas is a new team in Gruden. I mean, Denver's not that good, but you got Brady going to play against Elway's team. I mean,
you know, Denver's interesting because they finished 4-1 in their last 5. Now, do you believe that that's a precursor to 2020, or are you going to look at it and say, well, the teams they played weren't the best on their schedule, and they caught a couple of teams on their way out, blah, blah, blah. So Denver's an interesting team to me heading into 2020. I'm just throwing that out there. But now the other part of the equation, though, Mark, is if they're playing this many good teams and this many good quarterbacks, then that tells me they have a tough schedule.
They have a very tough schedule. Just quickly on this Broncos thing. Mm-hmm. Now, they did win 4 out of their last 5.
Right.
There's one respectable win there. One.
I know. It's why I mentioned it. You want to look at it glass half full. They won 4 of their last 5, and Mark, those were the 5 games Drew Lock started. Also, everything else was pre-Drew Lock. Okay, so do you want to look at it that way, or do you want to pick apart the 4-1? To me, Mark, this is very Cleveland Browns-esque.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, you were buying Cleveland in your annual bet with your Cincinnati Bengals fan buddy as to who's going to win more for the bottle of booze.
Speaking of which, Motley, you owe me a bottle of booze.
But you were also one that said, hey now, all right, that whole 5-2-1 finish there, we need to take a look at who you played. You didn't beat a team with a winning record, so I don't know if we should be going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over your Browns just yet.
Yeah, I did not pick them to go to the playoffs last year. I had their record being a little better than what it was. I didn't think they would be. I thought they were a 7-9, 8-8 type team. When I look at the Broncos, David, I see the same thing. They beat the Chargers, a team that tremendously underachieved a year ago. Now, they did beat the Texans. That's a good win. There's no denying that win. They were smothered by the Chiefs. They scored 3 points. They beat Detroit. Well, they're picking 3rd overall, and they beat the Raiders, scoring 16 points to do so. There's nothing about that has me, not to mention they are in a division with Kansas City.
I understand. Extra playoff team this year in each conference. They did go 7-9 a year ago. And you could make the case that Denver's going to be a better team this year. And the Raiders, while you poo-pooed the win, they did go 8-8. So it's not like they were a bad team. In fact, if we were doing a show in a different part of the country, you could see the poll question is going to be who's going to finish second in the AFC West this year. You know,
it's a great question.
The Raiders think they're on the rise. The Broncos think they're on the rise. And the Chargers think that last year was the aberration. And we're going to find out, we're going to get a quarterback somehow, some way, and we're going to pick up where we left off in 2018.
And the NFC West gets the luxury, or AFC West rather, gets the luxury of playing the AFC East.
Yeah, that helps.
Now look at the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets should all be slightly better.
Mm-hmm. But still.
Right, but slightly better for these teams still doesn't make them good teams.
And the Patriots are clearly worse. So, I mean, if you're picking divisions that you'd want to play as crossovers, you would pick the AFC East. And that is something to keep in mind for Bills fans in particular. The AFC East had a pretty good crossover last year. They have much tougher crossovers this year. And I'll say it again, the Bills had hardly no injuries a year ago. That's tough to do 2 years in a row, to have all your key players play. So while the Bills are going to be better this year than they were last year, their schedule's 1 to 2 games tougher, and can they have the same injury fortune as they had a year ago? So just something to keep in mind for Bills fans. Never mind, that's why if you're a Patriots fan and you're convinced in Bill we trust, well, your last 9 games a year ago, I think you went 4-5, including the playoff game, and now your schedule's going to be tougher, and obviously you've lost 4 defensive starters and Brady. But besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how's the play? 479-5551, 479-5551, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line.
So, David, we asked something towards the end of the 6 o'clock hour regarding jerseys. And just having a little fun with TB12 being a buck. And who's going to run out and get a Brady jersey. And
New
you just
uniforms
asked,
revealed today.
You just asked, what's the last Bucks jersey? To Bucks fans. You said to them specifically, I am going to open this up to our text line. Because I do believe that most of us don't buy jerseys anymore. We don't wear jerseys. I do think a much smaller percentage of the public wears jerseys. And, well, people started sending in what they bought. And one person didn't bother with the rules of it being a Bucks jersey. And that's what got me thinking. Because right away, the first thing that came in was from TB Gator Boy on Twitch, who said Eric Rhett.
Oh, wow.
Right. Right. See, that you have the same sort of reaction. And
Now,
but the next oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, first reaction that I saw, someone tweeted at the both of us and said, last Bucks jersey was all stop.
Right, and we did get that on Twitter. So that's fine. I got this one on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 479-5551, 479-5551. Feeling a little lonely. The text line's been a little empty the last couple of days. Most of you folks are at home, not in your cars where you're texting on your way to work, but you're just kind of sitting there. And I don't have David next to me, and so I need more text. But this person just simply said with the frown emoji trailing it, Josh Freeman.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a reason after that 9-7. Was it 9-7, 10-6?
No, they went 10-6.
10-6 with Raheem Morris as the head coach. And they're
his second year in the league.
Right.
You've got yourself a franchise quarterback. You traded up in the first round. You picked him like 20th overall. This was Mark Dominic's big play, and it's working.
Yes.
You go 10-6 with him. You're like, we got ourselves a quarterback. I mean, Mark, the Josh Freeman era would still be going on.
There would have never been a Jameis in Tampa. Never.
No. There'd be no TB12. I mean, Josh Freeman would be in like his 13th year in the league. All right, he will have won so many games for the Bucs over the years. We're not getting rid of our guy, the greatest quarterback in franchise history.
Instead, when they get Tom Brady to come play for them, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still have the distinction of being the worst franchise in professional sports. They have the lowest winning percentage among all franchises in the four major sports. 38.7. That's where you are, Bucs.
Say that out loud again slowly. This is how crazy of a year 2020 has been so far. We're like officially, I think it's tomorrow, the 100th day of the year. You know, you do some quick math.
It's the 1,000th day of the year.
I think today is officially day 98.
I can't help
2020.
I can't help it, but Platoon's on a run on Showtime, and it's just I've hit it a couple times, and I've the same scene. They're cleaning out the latrines, and they're talking about what day they're on. And he's like, 3:32. Man, I don't even remember 3:32. It's like, I don't even remember April. This year's been so long. But this is how long this year's been. Tom Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, certainly the greatest resume of all time, the greatest winner since Otto Graham in the history of professional football as a quarterback. And what team does he choose in free agency? He chooses the worst franchise in not just the league. He chooses the worst active franchise in professional sports to go to. As Ian O'Connor wrote this for ESPN.com, I'm just going to give you the first sentence of this paragraph. Tom Brady, the ultimate winner, was committing to play for the ultimate Loserville franchise. Tampa Bay's .387 career winning percentage is the worst among all franchises in the four major sports.
Just let it marinate.
Thank you.
Let it soak in.
So
and
yes,
that is why I think there's going to be a run on Tom Brady.
You're
jersey.
Damn right there is.
Whether he's playing 1 year, 2 years, or 3. I think Bucs fans, and you're going to have older Bucs fans too, and they're going to be like, you know what? I don't care. My friends can give me all the damn grief in the world they want. The uniforms are being revealed at lunchtime today, and I am going online, and I am buying me a Brady jersey.
I wish I could watch a ticker like you used to with the Jerry Lewis telethon, and Jerry
like
would come
QVC.
up.
Like QVC,
If
they let
so.
you know as they're selling.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want. Oh, yeah, they do. That's right. They keep the ticker. That's what I want. I want a Tom Brady ticker on Bucks.com. That's all I want. I want these jerseys revealed at 1, and I want to watch how many people buy them the rest of the day. Because you're right, David. Old ladies can buy them. Old men can buy them. Young people. It doesn't matter. I got this guy. I don't even know if he's telling the truth, but I'm going to take Jack on Twitch at his word, who says the only Bucks jersey I've ever bought is Joey Juravicious. Get a Brady jersey today, dude.
Hey,
Jack, get a Brady jersey today.
Hey, Joe Juravicious made a big catch and run in that NFC Championship game in Philadelphia. That was the play that turned the game around early on. So I hear you. Here's Mark. Here's the dirty little secret question. How many Patriots fans buy a Brady jersey?
Very, very few.
Really?
Very
Down
few.
here?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Down here? No. I'm not saying that they'll wear it around their elder Patriot friends. Come on now.
David.
They're
look,
Brady fans.
I got you.
And they blame Bill for this divorce more than they blame Tom.
Here's a better way of looking at this, David, and I think you're 100% wrong, and we'll just agree to disagree here because it's not really worth yelling at one another over. But I think what you will see is a tremendous... In fact, the number 2 jersey at Ray J this year may be Brady Patriot jerseys.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you're going to see
Fair
Brady
enough.
Bucks jersey, All-Star jersey, Brady Patriot jersey.
Okay. Fair enough. That's how they'll show their support.
Yeah, I'm going to go
They
Brady
won't spend
Bucks.
any more money on Tom, but they'll buy the tickets and they'll wear their Brady Patriot jersey.
I think jerseys will
Fair
be
enough.
Brady Bucks, Brooks or Allstott Bucks, then the other one, and then Brady Patriots.
Yeah, you may see a decent number of Mike Evans jerseys. All right, I've seen quite a few here in recent years. Miller and Moulton, 479-5551, 479-5551 is our text line, and it's also how you can call into the show via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Today was the day when, coming up in a little more than 20 minutes' time, Pat Kerwin, roughly 1 hour from now, here on Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is The Herd
You're clear.
with Colin Cowherd.
Joe Burrow is inheriting the cheapest owner. They don't have a GM, and Zach Taylor could be good, no idea. You don't think that's going to matter? In a brutally good division with 2 of the best ownership groups in the NFL, Baltimore and the Rooney family. Again, we know this to be true. Where you land matters.
Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
A big part of enjoying a good bike ride are all the sights you see along the way.
So when David and I both developed cataracts, it didn't take long for us to do something about it.
Turns out some of the best cataract surgeons in the world are right here in our area at Community Eye Center.
We really care about improving people's lives by improving their vision.
Dr. Spalding and Dr. Spatafora really do care about helping people, and we're so glad they helped us.
They're excited. We share in that excitement. It makes us feel great about what we do.
Hi, this is Dr. Scheibel from Community Eye Center. My partner, Dr. Spatafora, and I want to remind everybody, don't be a spreader. The coronavirus is so tiny, 100 million
someone
particles
just
fit
texted
on the
us.
head
We may
of
have
a
to
pin.
double
As
check
we
it.
run around in our trucks
Total
and cars
career
and play golf
wins
and go
by the
fishing and
Bucks.
go to work and do the things we like to do, we are
267.
spreading the virus. The virus can only
Total
move
career
with us.
wins
Over
by
65,
TB12.
diabetes, COPD, all
243.
these folks will be hurt severely by this virus. Wash your hands, be careful, don't be a spreader.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana Kia.
We're here, we're open, and we're on a mission to make a difference at Galliana Kia in Fort Myers. Our service and parts departments are open for business. Now's a great time to bring your vehicle in for service. And right now, you can buy a new Galliana Kia with 0% financing for 72 months. Plus, no payments for 120 days. 2020 Kia Soul or 2020 Kia Forte. Lease for just $99 per month. That's right, a new Kia Soul or Forte for $99 per month. Want to sell or trade your car fast? Go to GallianaKia.com and submit a trade valuation request. In minutes, we'll make you an offer to buy your car, even if you don't buy a car from us. And we'll come pick it up.
Yeah, Mark.
From Galliana Kia.
We're here, we're open, and we're on a mission to make a difference at Galliana Kia, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day,
Mark, can you hear
including
me?
Sunday.
Yeah.
GallianaKia.com. 24-month lease is 10,000
David's
miles per year,
calling you.
$44.99 with signing plus tax and tag. No security deposit.
The
Subject to lender approval. Offers
267
don't combine.
is right.
Expires month end.
Pool need a checkup?
Yes.
Call the doctor. The Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here.
What?
LED color changing pool lights can create an after dark backyard
Yeah, it
oasis.
is, but the
Pick
other
your
one
color
isn't.
or select one
He's
of the
got
light
219
shows.
regular
You can see how
season and
dramatic it
30 in
really
the
is on our
playoffs. So it's
website.
either
We're a
240.
family company.
It's
For over
219 to do it
40 years,
accurately.
we've been doing business right.
The
249
prescription is
if
the
you
Pool Doctor
include
for
the
award-winning
postseason.
pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39
Well,
diagnostic
and we
calls.
should probably
That's
include the
mypooldoctor.com
postseason,
or
because the Bucks have so many fewer
239-574-1133.
I'll come up
State
with their
certified
postseason
CPC
numbers.
057088.
I'm a busy person.
Got
Catch
it right
the
here.
show anytime. Check out MillerandMoulton.com and subscribe to the daily podcasts.
Ever purchased an online item and either it doesn't fit,
That
has
takes it
missing
to
parts, or became
273
damaged?
because they're
Trying
6
to
and
save a
9
few
in the
bucks
playoffs.
can end up costing more. My Shower Door is a locally owned and operated family business that measures, manufactures, and installs our own brand of frameless shower doors right here in Southwest Florida. And we were just named Lee County's Manufacturer of the Year. With almost 80,000 shower doors installed, we have the experience and expertise. Plus, estimates are always free. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
This election season, there's only one candidate with a spotless resume and impeccable service record.
Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs is the obvious choice. Voted number 2 in the nation by TripAdvisor, Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs does it right. Owner Todd Brooks and his staff are committed to providing the best burger experience and superior customer service. With favorites like the Donut Burger, which is a handcrafted burger between 2 glazed donuts and topped with American cheese and bacon, Brooks
Thanks
Gourmet
for the numbers,
Burgers and
though.
Dogs
Appreciate
are
it.
truly building the dream one burger at a time. 4 locations: downtown Naples, Vanderbilt Beach and 41, on the East Trail at 951 and 41, and their newest location in Logan Landings on Immokalee Road in North Naples. See why Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs deserves your vote today. Online at brooksburgers.com. Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs, building the dream one burger at a time.
I'm Todd Brooks, and I approve this message.
Now back to Miller and Moulton. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Thanks so much for being with us. Nearly halfway home on this first Tuesday in April, April 7th, what normally would be the day after the men's college basketball national championship game and would be Tuesday of Masters Week. The par 3 contest would be tomorrow. Instead, we're going to have to wait 7 full months for the Masters, which leads into our poll question. That Mark Miller on Twitter, the David Moulton on Twitter, millerandmoulton.com. So you got one choice. Sunday, November 15th. You going to watch the NFL or are you going to watch the final round of the Masters? That's our poll question. NFL jumped out to an early lead. Masters, I know, caught up. It was 50-50 there for a while. Going to have to refresh.
Didn't check. We had a very lively break, David. Very lively break.
We did.
We have a group of folks that watch religiously on Twitter and on Twitch, and the Twitch chat room is up on one computer all the time. It's where I can see David. I have the same picture you see on your Twitch or YouTube or Facebook is what I'm looking at. A nice little box. David's head's a little bigger than mine today. I increased the size of David's box. I was trying to give you half the screen. I was watching Seth Everett do a Twitch show yesterday, and I liked the setup, so I was trying to emulate it, and I can't pull it off for whatever reason. So on the right is the chat room, and someone just Heckle Hyde put in total career wins by the Bucks, 267. Total TB12 wins, 243. And I said, I got to check that. Number's actually wrong. Tom was 219 regular season wins, but he has 30 postseason wins. So that's
249.
249. The Bucks have 6 postseason wins. That's the
Correct.
same number of Super Bowl rings as Tom Brady has. I mean, the more you talk about this, the more you talk about this and peel the onion, as you like to say, David. Oh, my goodness, does it make you cry?
Mark, it gets even better. This is the franchise that Tom Brady has joined. Mark, the Bucks have been around since 1976.
Yes, they have.
They have played 44 NFL seasons. 44. How many 10-win seasons do they have out of 44?
4?
No, come on now. Come on.
8? I don't know. They're the worst franchise ever. How?
I understand. Well, you're very close with the 8.
Okay.
They have 7 10-win seasons out of 44.
Okay. I mean, you really gave me I guessed 4. Come on. I was off by 3 for crying out loud. It wasn't that bad of a guess.
Well, I mean, the Dungy years produced 3 of them, and then they went to a Super Bowl right afterwards. So, but only 7 double-digit win seasons in the history of the franchise. And I feel that that's important to note because if Brady and the Bucks go 10-6 and make the playoffs, and then say they win a playoff game but get bounced in the divisional round, and people will be holding Brady up to his Patriots standards. And what you and I are then going to do on the Monday after they get eliminated is go, you do know he just helped produce the 8th 10-win season in franchise history, and he did help them win just their 7th postseason game and their first one in nearly 20 years. I mean, that's how much losing/mediocrity they have produced for their fan base. 6-9 all time in the postseason. He has twice as many wins in the playoffs as the Bucks have played playoff games.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, David. They've played 15. He's won 30. Yes.
Correct.
Yes. And he chose them.
Correct. He chose them. Because basically he's saying, if we can win here, I'm dropping the mic. I'm walking off into the sunset. You can all kiss my blank. All right? All of you.
2 texts that I received back to back. One on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 479-5551. One on my personal phone. Not going to give that number out. The one on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line says, I will not buy a Brady Tampa jersey for my son, but I will take him to watch Tom Brady play. But he will be sporting his number 12 from the Patriots.
All right, fair enough.
Then on my personal phone from a longtime friend, Lou, who bleeds New England everything. Wouldn't shock you at all to see this guy wearing a Patriot shirt with a Bruins hat, if you know what I mean. He is full in New England sports.
Celtics warm-up. Got it.
David is right. I'm buying a Bucks jersey with Brady on the back. And he's older than I am. Might be as old as you.
Wow, that old, huh? Blank. 479-5551. 479-5551. The Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. That is the power of Brady right there. He's their guy. It's a generation of Boston sports fans. He is their Larry. And they didn't have to see Larry play for anybody else. They didn't have to see Yaz. They didn't have to see Teddy Ballgame. He's their guy.
They're not going to have to see Mookie play for the Dodgers because it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen.
No, they could acquire him right back. Never miss a game. Get a couple of prospects out of the deal. I will say for some of these, like Chris Sale and Noah Syndergaard and a couple of others who are going to miss the year with a Tommy John, I will say if you're going to miss the year with Tommy John surgery, miss the year that may never happen.
No kidding. But, David, it is...
year that may not happen.
I'm telling you, I don't like September football in Florida outside, but I'm going to have to go to see the scene. If we're playing September football, that is.
Well, and I'll mention this again, and this could be me overanalyzing the 3-car funeral, which goodness knows I can do. All right, but when I saw the announcement yesterday by the USGA that the U.S. Open is going to take place September 17th through the 20th, I happen to know that the dates that were being kicked around were earlier than that. Because I've been emailing some people, with Fox saying, hey, what are you hearing? And this is the latest dates that I had heard. But these are the dates that the USGA and Fox agreed upon to broadcast. And Mark, my first thought was combining that with the fact that the NFL, which has not pushed anything back, anything. They went forward with free agency. They went forward with the combine. They're going forward with the draft. They have pushed virtually nothing back. You know what the one thing they did push back? Their schedule reveal. Their schedule reveal was supposed to be next week. Instead, it's going to be that week in May. That leads me to wonder. Now, they could just be buying themselves more time, which is the smart thing to do. It does lead me to wonder, though, Mark, how much September NFL are we going to have? Could the NFL, because think about this. The networks, and this year CBS is the Super Bowl. They want to keep it in February. Well, you got 3 weeks to play with to still keep it in February. I mean, Mark, what if they start at the very end of September instead of starting earlier in September?
Hey, David, we are flat out guessing.
Right.
We are guessing. I can tell you that the PGA's release did nothing to make me think about football. The only thing I would say to combat what you're talking about is if the Columbus Dispatch is right and that the tour released all this and the Memorial's sitting there going, yeah, we're not on board with this, that I don't know how the PGA could have been talking to the NFL, if you know what I mean. I mean, maybe there was part of this conference call Saturday that we didn't, that maybe after they were all done, they said, everybody hang up except for the PGA Tour and the NFL. It's possible. Can we have a separate conversation? I just don't envision that having happen. No, I don't at all.
So you don't think the U.S. Open date that has anything to do, because it's a real mess for Fox, just like it's going to be a real mess for CBS with the Masters in November.
Which is why I don't think they contacted him. Put it this way, David. I understand your point in that if they push the season back, it's great for Fox and they can air the U.S. I get it. Makes total sense. But then explain the Masters to me.
Well, I think the Masters, though, was pushing their date so far back that CBS was going to be in a bind no matter what. But for Fox, if the NFL just pushes their schedule back 2 weeks, they're fine. They can air the U.S. Open on the networks they want to air it with, the people they want to air it with, and then the season starts the very next week. It just makes me wonder, is the NFL going to start just a little bit later than normal? That's all. That was the first thing I thought of. Maybe just a 2-week, at most 3-week push down the road. You still have your Super Bowl in late February, which is a sweeps month. That's why the networks would prefer it to be in that month. And then you go forward. And that's all. It was just my first thought. Like I said, I could be overthinking the room here. You didn't see the correlation between the two. I wondered if there was one. We're not going to know for another month when the NFL releases its schedule. But Bucks released their new jerseys today. The early word is they're going to look a lot closer to the late 90s, early 2000s, to the, Mark, the glory days of the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Dungy, early Gruden era there. 96 through 2005, that 10-year period of time, where they had, I think, let's see, do this correctly, I believe 5 of their 7 double-digit win seasons, Mark, came in that 10-year period of time. Supposedly the jerseys are going to look much closer to those. And how many of you, it's okay to admit it, 479-5551, it's okay to admit, A, how many of you are going to buy Bucks gear? And B, is it going to be Brady Bucks gear? And how many Patriot fans out there are all in on TB12 2 hours up the road?
I'm going to send a text to every mass person I'm friends with during this break. I'm going to send a group text out to see if because I got a text going, is there a loophole? What if one of the listeners bought your daughter a Tampa Bay Brady jersey? And I replied very quickly, she'd give it away. And I really want my daughter to wear a Brady Bucks jersey. I want to bring her to a game, just she and I, and have her come home in the jersey just to see what the hell would happen.
Well, it would happen to you.
Oh, I know.
I have a,
and it's. I'm an idiot because there's no way this works out well for me.
Well,
relations are really good around here right now. But we're getting along terrifically, and here I am trying to screw it all up.
Well,
because I find it funny. That's a window into my soul right now, David.
Yes, exactly. Your life's never been better. Things are going great. And so you go, hey, honey, can I get our daughter? You know, your only
Brady
child.
Jersey.
Right. What do you say, big Steelers fan? You mind if I buy her a Brady Bucks jersey? Wait, that's a problem? Mark, I think you'll be living upstairs. All right. And she may not even let you live in the spare bedrooms. You may have to live in our studio there. You might be sleeping on the floor where Frank is right now. All right. My goodness. Listen, whatever you do, don't jeopardize Miller and Moulton getting on the air the next Monday. I don't want it so that you're locked out of the studio. We have to get on the air.
Fair enough.
You could be wearing a Bucks Brady jersey, but we have to get on the air. In fact, you could hang Maddie's jersey that she's no longer allowed to wear behind you. It'll be that. In fact, that'll be your excuse. No, honey, I didn't get it for her. I got it for the studio.
It's for the studio.
All right. It's for the studio. All right. Just trying to dress it up a little bit. Something new.
Ooh, now I can write that jersey off.
There you go. Send a picture of it in with our taxes.
Right.
See? What are you talking about?
Earnings, $3.14.
Pie. We earned pie.
That's it.
This year.
We're still at it, working for pie.
And not much else. Miller and Moulton. Today was the day when. Coming up next, then we'll talk golf and football in our 8 o'clock hour. Thanks so much for making us part of your day here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Special coronavirus update
You're
from
clear.
Wink News.
I'm Therese O'Shea with Wink News. There are 25 new cases of coronavirus in Southwest Florida. 4 more people have died in our area, 2 in Lee, 1 in Collier, and 1 in DeSoto County, for a total of 14 deaths locally. Across the state, over 250 people have died, and the number of positive cases is now at 13,629. Marco Island is opening beach access at 1 entry point and 1 exit point starting next Monday from dawn until dusk. All county beaches in Southwest Florida counties are still closed. More children are testing positive for COVID-19. Doctors say genetics, immunity, and how each child's body depletes certain chemicals makes them more susceptible to getting the virus. President Trump will get an update on getting small businesses back to work. He's scheduled to address the nation tonight at 5 p.m. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News. Facts, not fear.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau. You can count on us for great service. You can count on us to get it done. You can count on us for a price that's fair. The quality is second to none. For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
So the wife was listening to that segment.
Whose wife?
Friends, I care.
How about making better vision part of your to-do list? Dr. Jonathan France, a pioneer in LASIK surgery, and his expert team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you see your future in 2020. France Eye Care is offering $1,000 off bilateral LASIK. This is a huge savings, made even more affordable because financing is available. So when these clouds of confinement are lifted, rid yourself of those glasses and contacts and experience the freedom of LASIK so that you can see clearly as we drive far, far away to, well, the grocery store to pick up food and toilet paper. Make LASIK with France Eye Care the easy choice. Start the process today by scheduling your free consultation with no purchase obligation. Wishing you the very best of health from France Eye Care.
France, I care.
We're on the phone with our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tec to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tec for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tec in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec wood, look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
Twitter. Follow Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio on Twitter. Yeah. Follow us at Fox Sports SWFL.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new membership pricing starts as low as $99. Call 239-945-1664 for more information, or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure brand, and then try and find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in, when you can deal directly with a local, family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors?
Hey, Ian?
My Shower Door is a family-owned and operated business,
Yes, sir.
and has the highest ratings on the Angie's List
when you
and
line
Home
up our
Advisor.
next guest,
Wanna
make
see
sure
more?
you find
Go to
out how to pronounce his last
There
name,
will be
okay?
parties again soon, and family
Yeah, I'll do it.
gatherings. There'll
Thank
be
you.
parades and sporting events and concerts. To help our communities when they come back together, respond to the 2020 census now. Spend a few minutes online today to impact the next 10 years of healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Respond online today to make America's tomorrow brighter. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Twelve minutes before the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Joel Bell from the Golf Digest will join us coming up in about 15 minutes' time. Golf figured out what they were going to do, at least concerning the majors and the Ryder Cup and the FedEx Cup yesterday. We'll talk to Joel about it. And then Pat Kerwin will join us in a little more than a half an hour. For those that are listening and you weren't with us last hour, we did spend a significant amount of time talking about the passing of Al Kaline. Don't want a certain generation of fans and also all the Michigan folks in our neck of the woods to think that we're not paying our proper respects to Mr. Tiger, who passed away yesterday at the age of 85. A remarkable career, all 22 years with one franchise, an 18-time All-Star, 3,000 plus hits, nearly a 300 lifetime batting average, one homer shy of 400, won a batting title at the age of 20, the youngest ever to do so. Al Kaline passed away yesterday at the age of 85.
And I was taken to task by a listener today, and rightly so. We started to, just quickly, I mentioned, because when Brady was traded, Bob Ryan did his Mount Rushmore of Boston athletes. And it's not impressive. It's all-time greats of sport. Not just Boston. It's a damn near Mount Rushmore of sports. And you'd go, yeah, that works. And so I just quickly did the Michigan, and listeners started giving me, a bunch of others and said Night Train Lane and Bo Schembechler. And I'm like, I'm guilty of this. So I said, Bo, it's a Mount Rushmore, not a lose the Rose Bowl list. And he came back at me with your green and white is showing. And yes, actually, I guess it probably is there. Now, I don't think Bo's anywhere close to the Mount Rushmore of Detroit or Michigan sports. He's a great college football coach. But I do agree with what that person said. My It can't go away. My shots
But
at
I
that.
don't think you said. But you didn't say that on the air, though.
No, I
think
didn't.
you just
I
went
didn't.
back and forth.
No, it was
with
just a
them
back
on,
and forth. But the Al Kaline thing,
Right.
I just pointing out that someone called me out on something, and he's right. Absolutely right. Been called out twice today. Once by this gentleman, and during the last commercial break by my wife.
Is she home or is she on her way to work?
On her way to work.
Oh, so she was listening.
She's told me a long time ago she listens to audiobooks. Where
Right.
the hell is
Doesn't
the
listen to the show.
audiobook now?
Well, you said morale is so good in the household that maybe she's like, you know what? I'll listen to my hubby.
2 texts. First one says, "Don't you dare!" Exclamation point.
Man, she's really taking this hard.
Secondly, if you buy a TB jersey, I will make you all in capitals. My wife is not an all capital person. I will
Right.
make you wear it in public.
Ooh.
Now that is
Ooh.
a 6-year-old girl's jersey that she's threatening to have me wear in public. And I guarantee you right now, if the poll question was anything or Miller wearing a girl's Tampa Bay Brady jersey in public, that would win 100% to 0.
Mark, I'd wear it as a headband. I'd wrap it up. I mean, who knows? We may still be wearing masks. I mean, honestly, I may just, if I were you, I'd wear it as some sort of headgear. So I think I could get you around that one. You know.
I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not going to try to get around it. I am just going to go with what the wife said and go with the "don't you dare." On that
The other
note,
thing she said, it's time now for
Miller and Moulton's Today Was the Day When, giving you the history of today's date so you're a beacon of useless knowledge around the office.
Useless, but a lot of fun to talk about.
This is Today Was the Day When.
Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
today in 1788, the first settlement in Ohio, Marietta, Ohio, on the West Virginia-Ohio border. 1795, France adopts the meter as the basic measure of length.
Oh, as just, and for those of us of a certain age, we spent years in grade school and junior high learning the metric system because remember, that's what we were going to switch to. That's what we were told all through the late 70s and into the early 80s. You better learn this. Whole rest of the world goes by this. You better learn your centimeters and your meters because that's what we're going to be using. Kiss my...
Wow.
Yes.
1805.
A lot of time wasted on that.
1805, Lewis and Clark begin their journey to the Pacific Ocean. You know, I saw this one. I don't even know if I should. 1818. This is one of the things they had. General Andrew Jackson conquers St. Mark's, Florida from the Seminole Indians. Did he really conquer it? I mean, we just kept moving them south more and more. Was it really a conquer or just more of a hostile takeover?
Yeah, I think he just forced them to move, to be honest.
Conquered. Come on. 1896, the first Olympics. Australian Teddy Flack wins gold in the 1500 and then would win the 800 2 days later. 1902, Texaco forms. In 1928, David, your Rangers in the Cup beat the Montreal Maroons 2-1, but that's not really the story. It was when 44-year-old general manager Lester Patrick replaced his injured goaltender in the game and would go on to win. He was 44, and the GM came down and put the pads on to play goal.
Get out of my way. I'll do it. There's nobody here who can do this better than me anyway.
I love some of these. 1943, NFL adopts the free substitution rule, which makes you wonder what football was like before 1943.
Very tiring for those 11 guys. That's what it was.
No doubt. 51, Hogan wins his first of his 2 Masters titles and the 15th Masters. In the 10th NBA championship, in 56, the Philadelphia Warriors beat the Fort Wayne Pistons 4-1. 58, LA Coliseum stole a little thunder from Fenway when they put a 42-foot screen in left field in the Coliseum to cut down home runs because of that lengthy 250-foot down-the-line home run.
Yeah, Dodgers moved there, and they had no place to play, and so they had to play in the Coliseum, and the dimensions were a disaster.
1973, Cleveland sets day game and opening game record attendance of 74,420. What it doesn't note here is that Game 2 attendance was 2,120. Blue Jays' first game today in 77. They would beat the White Sox 9-5. Jack Morris in 84, no hits the White Sox 4-0. In 85.
Wait, was that on opening day?
Yes.
Okay.
That was Jack on opening day against the White Sox. You're exactly right. 85, Herschel runs for 233 for the New Jersey Generals.
Owned by President Trump.
1997, the Howard Stern radio show made its premiere in this market. 2008, Kansas beats Memphis for the title. First time all 4 ones make it to the Final Four. Kentucky wins in 2014. Becomes the second time a school's won both national titles in the same year. And in 2018, the Vegas Knights lose at the end of the season 7-1, but finish with 51 victories, breaking the previous record of 33 held by both Anaheim and the Florida Panthers.
For an expansion team.
Right.
Right.
If you were born today, you share your birthday with Chaim Solomon. I doubt any of you have ever heard that name, but when I looked it up, I was like, who's this guy? Why does he have a picture? Polish-born American broker who helped finance the American Revolution. Have you ever heard of him, David?
No.
Neither have I. I mean, that seems like a pretty important guy in our history. If you financed the American Revolution, and it's a name I had never, ever heard of. Walter Camp basically founded football, born in 1859. The great Billie Holiday was born in 1915 today. James Garner, Rockford Files, born in 28. Wayne Rogers from MASH, born in 33. Francis Ford Coppola, born in 39. The great Tony Dorsett, born today in 1954. And the Barber twins, Rondé and Tiki, born today. We are Buzzwords! Thought I had 3 seconds.
The physicians and staff at Center for Men's Health want you to know
I knew
that
I was
C4MH.com is open and will
He gave
remain
you a 30.
open through this entire ordeal. C4MH.com has taken a multitude of steps to make their offices the safest places they can.
Did you hear Ian? Because he gave you a 30.
Statement of fact.
C4MH.com. I knew I was close. I just couldn't.
With Microban 24, the most
I can't
advanced
keep the time up when I'm
antivirus
scrolling on the
disinfectant
page.
available
I knew I
today.
was really
And
close.
unlike any other disinfectant, Microban 24 kills viruses for 24 hours after application, touch after touch. The staff wears level 1 procedure masks, and you can have one too. They monitor their temperatures, and soon they'll do the same for you when you walk in the door. All pens and clipboards are antimicrobial, and when you walk in, you will use hand sanitizer. C4MH.com prepared for this early so that both their staff and patients remain safe. Safe is the way it's always been at C4MH.com. It's Frank from Z105, and I know because I'm a patient there too.
Our sound is a sound that makes you stop. Stop. And listen.
Listen to me and you listen well.
It's a collective voice that calls out to you, the fan.
We get a lot of zany people that call in.
This is our sound.
We're dealing with sick people here.
They're just absolutely nuts. Crazy stuff happens. That's all I'm saying.
And you can only get it here.
Get crazy, get wild.
On Fox Sports Radio.
Attention. Attention! Have you recently questioned your safety? These are chaotic times, and these are normal feelings. What can you do to feel safe and confident? Visit the Alamo Range in North Naples. Inquire about their training classes to help you be a confident marksman, and ask to be shown around by one of the staff. Notice its cleanliness and selections. Visit the Alamo and discover a new rewarding pastime. The Alamo Gun Range of Naples. Naples' premier indoor gun range and firearms superstore. AlamoRange.com.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 94.1 Fox Sports Radio. We are Fox Sports. Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com. There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it.
Miller?
This could end the bro hug. That would be great.
No answer
for you,
twice.
because
I'll continue
nobody
trying.
Worse at the bro hug than one David Moulton.
And Moulton.
I used to be. 2019, I found my bro hug groove.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports
Yeah, I heard his
Radio.
voicemail. I think
guests
it's
appear on the
Beal.
Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
I'll say it, yeah, I will.
Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton on this first Tuesday of April in 2020. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live many a place, including the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. You know how to chime into the show by the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line, 479-5551. 479-5551. The number is different if you want to call in and leave a recorded message for our Takeout Shoutout segment, which is how we end every show these days, trying to promote local businesses, particularly restaurants. And you just call, and it's 479-5577. That's where you leave your message and make it short and sweet. Tell us who you are, or if you're just a customer, quite frankly, of a business and you want to, give them a shout out and help them out. 479-5577 is where you leave your takeout shout out message. The text line is 479-5551. All guests will appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm hotline, goldberg-law.com. Pat Kerwin scheduled to join us in a little more than 20 minutes time. But we're having some fun today. Golf has rescheduled. They've at least given us something to look forward to. A U.S. Open in mid-September, a Masters in mid-November, which leads to our poll question, Mark. On Sunday, November 15th, if you only have one option, would you watch the NFL or would you watch the final round at Augusta? That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, millerandmoulton.com is where you go to vote. That is our poll question.
50-50. Through a couple hours of the show right now. Dead even on this poll question.
And that's one of the reasons why we threw it out there. We thought this market, more than maybe any other, but certainly in the top 3 to 5 in the country, where the Masters, outside of Augusta, we thought this might be the strongest market where golf would be represented in this poll question.
People always suggest other poll questions for us throughout the show, and now with the new Open, Heckle has suggested that he would watch the movie Moulton Finds His Bro Hug Groove. And if that were a supplemental poll question to the show, it would be very much the opposite of the 50-50 poll question we have now. It would be 100% to 0 for yes, because I don't think anybody, given today's climate, would be able to miss David Finds His Bro Hug Groove. I would go with David instead of Moulton, just semantics here, Heckle, but I think David Finds His Bro Hug Groove is a better title than Moulton Finds His Bro Hug Groove, although both work.
Boy, David Finds His Bro Hug Groove. That sounds almost like a Hallmark movie.
Either that or a really wicked Tarantino film.
Well, once again,
as you bro hug in
colors.
Right, you bring in the bro hug and then you're shooting 4 guys as you're bro hugging one guy.
Right. I love the contrast between the two. My analogy, I went Hallmark. Okay. And you went, something that has to air after 11 o'clock at night on Cinemax or Showtime. Oh, okay. Good.
They're giving away stars for free for a little while. I have it anyhow, but the newest Tarantino movie is on there, Once Upon a Time in America, or whatever the hell it is here, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood rather. And so it was Saturday or Sunday night, and the wife suggested to watch them. I said, you want to watch the Tarantino movie? And she just looks at me like, no, I don't want to watch a bunch of people get killed before I go to bed. I don't even know what the movie's about, but it's going to be really violent.
Well, first off, and it's not short. I mean, that's the other thing. It is not short.
Like we don't have the time.
Well, that is true. That is true.
I mean, I am just yearning for The Irishman followed by Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
479-5551, 479-5551 is our number. The Bucs reveal their new look today. And no, it's not at quarterback. The Bucs are going to reveal their new jerseys. And not sure they're doing anything with the helmet, though. I've heard rumors that the helmet is staying relatively the same, that they like that big flag on the side of the helmet. So we'll see if they stick with that, but they're going with a new jersey look today, and we're wondering how many, little bored, too much time on their hands, how many, not just Bucs fans who are all in, but also all the Patriot fans that we have in Southwest Florida, and or just the Brady fans. I mean, let's face it, he's got great crossover appeal. How many people are going to purchase TB12 Bucs jerseys today online after they come out? I think it's at 1 o'clock that the big reveal happens in Tampa. Passing of Al Kaline, we've talked about on a couple of occasions. He's just one of those guys. Not every market has one, quite frankly. Somebody who spends an all-time great player who spends their entire career just wearing your jersey.
Well, you brought up Bobby Mitchell the other day and his passing. Not only did he play for the Redskins, but then worked in the organization for 4 or 5 decades after. That's really the same thing. I mean, Al Kaline is Mr. Tiger as much for his post-playing career as he is for his playing career. He was the long-time television voice of the team. He is my voice of Detroit Tiger baseball on television, as much as Ernie Harwell is on radio. When we got our couple 3 games a week, it was George Kell and Al Kaline. And that's what I watched. That's what so many of us, I saw Facebook yesterday of friends from my childhood, friends from high school, and all of them commenting, and most of them commenting on watching George and Al do the games because we're all of a certain age. I remember Al Kaline's last All-Star game when I was 5 watching it on television because my dad made a big deal out of it that, hey, this guy's great. He's not as great as he used to be. I remember my parents took me we'd go to a game a year, and we'd go spend the night down in Detroit and go to a game and come back. I remember doing that. And in fact, the first book report I ever did was on an Al Kaline biography that I read in 2nd grade. It's the first book I actually remember, like first real book, no pictures, where I sat down and locked in to a hardback book was Al Kaline's biography. And I remember, I think Al, when he signed with Detroit, I want to say he got was Al one of the first to get a 6-figure contract?
Well, when he signed out of high school, the Tigers reported his bonus as being $35,000. Kaline later in life said, well, it was 15 and they gave me $6,000 bonus each of my first 2 years in the league. So I don't think Al was one of the first 6 figures. I thought that went to Yankees and Koufax and Drysdale.
He was the first
negotiated
Tiger.
It together. Yeah, that makes sense.
He was the first Tiger, and I remember this in the book, but again, I read this 45 years ago, or 40-some years ago. But after hitting 294, I had to pull it up in 71, Kaline became the first Tiger to sign a $100,000 contract. He had turned down the pay raise from $95,000 to $100,000 the previous year, and this is what I remembered, saying he didn't feel like he deserved it after hitting 278 with 21 home runs in 1970. Just want that to sink in for people a little bit.
I'm sure that went over well with the rest of the team, though. I could see where the rest of the team would be like, Al, we love you, but, you need to take the money because that's the only way it's going to trickle down.
Think about it. The guy that sits on top of the Mount Rushmore maybe in Detroit, Gordie Howe. He and Ted Lindsay had a long time feud because Ted Lindsay was a really bright guy and started the union, and Gordie Howe, the famous line is, oh, I don't know, he gave me a jacket last year or something like that. And Ted Lindsay just went nuts on Gordie Howe. And they ended up shipping Teddy out.
Well, I mean, if somebody's got to go, if the two, one of us can't stay here anymore. Well, Ted, sorry to say, it's going to be you.
But, I mean, it is interesting that both Kaline and Howe, two iconic athletes for the city, also humble guys, but probably, you're right, probably caused controversy. We know in the fact of Howe that he did. Got to believe that Kaline, that the Jim Northrops of the world and the Bill Freehands are like going, really? Really? I'd like to make 50. Can you sign for 100?
Right. Take the $5,000. 22 years as a Tiger, 18-time All-Star, and late in his career, he retired in '74, but in the final quarter of his career, Tigers get to the World Series in '68, and Detroit, just the year before, lost out on the last day of the season to the Red Sox. And remember, we didn't have a league championship series until 1969. So when the Tigers missed out in '67, at the time, that was the closest that Al came to playing in the postseason. But the Tigers get in the next year, and he was not much of a contributor during the regular season, but he had a big World Series when Detroit came back famously from 3-1 down against the Cardinals and ended up winning in 7. And Kaline with the game-winning hit in Game 5 and the big hit to break open Game 7. And Al Kaline, Mr. Tiger, passed away yesterday at the age of 85. And it is interesting because he's known as Mr. Tiger, and I think he would go on the Mount Rushmore of Detroit sports. But you could argue that, and most people don't think this way because this is a long time ago. I mean, Ty Cobb and Hank Greenberg were Detroit Tigers. And, for as great as Kaline was, 3,000 hits, 399 homers, nearly a 300 lifetime batting average, and what have you. I mean, if you were to lay it, once again, this is where emotion takes over. Sentiment takes over. If you were to put those three players down on a piece of paper and say rank them in order of best players, Cobb, Greenberg, Kaline. Now you throw in his whole seemingly life with the Tigers. I mean, he signed with Detroit the day after he graduated high school and was a member of the organization up until his passing, and longtime broadcaster and all that. So you could make the case. But, I mean, Mark, it is tough. If you really think about it, it's tough to say confidently that somebody was a better player than Ty Cobb.
Right.
I mean, when the guy has 41, now officially it ends up because they checked the records and they counted 2 hits he had in a doubleheader twice. And so that's why when Rose breaks the record, he actually, unbeknownst to everybody, broke it the day before at Wrigley Field. All right, because Cobb's 41.91 actually got reduced to 41.89 later on when they checked the record books. But, I mean, 4,189 hits.
Yeah, it's... and then you got this guy named Howe. I mean, literally, you just go Howe and Cobb. Okay. Now, I think Barry Sanders is on that list. And I don't think you can argue it.
I don't think so either.
Then who's 4?
Do you go basketball? Is it Isaiah? Do you go back to football? Do you go back to baseball? Is Detroit one of those cities in which, or do you go to hockey?
Well, I don't think you can go to basketball. I see Yzerman's ahead of Isaiah on my list, but I'm not an Isaiah guy. I would say Yzerman's ahead of Isaiah, but I would say Kaline's ahead of Yzerman right now. When Yzerman brings the cup back to Detroit.
Wow, that's going to be a while.
I know.
That's it.
When he brings the cup back to Detroit as the general manager, because Al was the broadcaster and he was the voice, but he didn't run the team. So I think Yzerman, because the playing careers are pretty damn similar as far as incredibly successful first ballot Hall of Fame players.
Yes.
And Isaiah's on that list, too. I mean, to be honest, Kaline, Thomas, I mean, sort that one out for me.
Something to point out about Al Kaline. We talk about it a lot now, but Al Kaline was a quote-unquote first ballot Hall of Famer. Joe DiMaggio was not.
I don't understand that.
Well, there are quite a few that were not first ballot Hall of Famers in which you have to win. I mean, forget the whole why it took until Mariano Rivera, in which we finally had somebody who was unanimous. I mean, once again, say it out loud. There were people that didn't vote for Hank Aaron. There were people that didn't vote for Willie Mays. I mean, why there was not the outrage 40 years ago that there would be today really is mind-boggling. But Al Kaline was a first ballot Hall of Famer. And there were very few of those during his era.
10th all time. He was the 10th player ever elected to baseball's Hall of Fame on his first ballot. I mean, that's...
Right, like I said, Joe DiMaggio was not.
You can all go through your head and probably come up with at least 6 of the other 9 really quickly by the time we get to 1980 is when he was elected. I don't think that's too difficult to go through the names in your head of who the players are.
Now, I'm guessing one of the 9 was the year before in Willie Mays. Now, he wasn't unanimous. In fact, there were like 20-something votes he didn't get, which, once again, is just, I mean, man, boy, are they lucky they didn't have Twitter and the internet back then. My goodness. Those guys wouldn't have left the house. But I'm guessing one of the 9 previous, and we're not counting the first class, obviously. You know, they put in the original class. They don't count. But since then, it goes to show you, first off, what a, well, really, it makes you question the Baseball Writers Association of America, doesn't it?
Yes.
For a long time.
Yes.
I mean, there are an awful lot of players, but so Kaline retires in 74 and he goes in 80 because you got to wait 5 years and then they vote. And so 80 was the first time he could have gone in. Mays' last year was 73 with the Mets. So he retired the year earlier. So I'm guessing that Mays was one of the 9 and he went in the class of 79.
Here are the players outside of the first class, obviously. Bob Feller was the first. He and Jackie Robinson in 62. First ballot Hall of Famers. Teddy Ballgame in 66. Stan Musial in 69. Koufax in 72. Warren Spahn in 73. Mantle in 74. Ernie Banks in 77. And Willie Mays.
Man, is that royalty.
Yeah.
And Al Kaline.
Right. And I mean, over the next couple of years, to give people who may not remember some of those names, who are just a little bit younger, the list from that goes Gibson the next year, Frank Robinson and Hank Aaron the following year, Brooks Robinson the following year, Lou Brock, and then Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell in 88, Johnny Bench and Yaz in 89. Just to give some perspective.
Miller and Moulton. So we've talked about Mr. Tiger during each of our 3 hours today. If you miss any part of the show, that's where Connecticut comes in. Every hour of the show gets its own Connecticut cast. Connecticut, with their revolutionary reverse osmosis system, you don't need to keep going to the grocery store. If you have Connecticut, it would really help you during these times. You've got the best water that you could ever imagine. You've got it right at home. Connecticut, 908-2300, the best damn water that Miller and Moulton have ever had. The draft is 2 weeks from Thursday, 2 and 2, as Chuck Woolery likes to say. We'll talk NFL with Pat Kerwin coming up in a moment. A reminder, our poll question, they have rescheduled the golf year. The Masters taking place in mid-November. Saw a couple of pictures on Twitter and the internet yesterday from folks who have played Augusta around that time of year, and they kind of showing us what the colors look like in Northeast Georgia that time of year, that's kind of peak foliage.
It's going to be gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Well, put your groundskeeper hat on again. What is it you were saying in the 8 o'clock hour or 6 o'clock hour?
David, according to my friends in the industry, and yesterday, hilarious when this came out, these are the texts that happened right after the decision. First one,
golf geeks in your life.
Golf geeks in my life. The first one, Millsy. Any idea how November 14, 15 would look from a TV perspective if this actually happens? Seems like CBS has quite a decision to make. That's a very legitimate question.
Yeah, there's no decision to
then
make.
It comes.
They have
then
to
it
run
comes.
the Masters.
Then it comes with maintenance work. Will be unreal to have that place ready in the fall. As you know, they blow it up in the summer. Going to be cool to watch them completely change all of that and have it ready to go. Scores will be low if they have it then. They overseed hard in the fall, so it will play soft. 100%. Has played soft in the spring many times, but that overseed is a different kind of soft.
Yeah, you know that overseed. Man, oh man. Can't wait to hear the golf commentary about the overseed.
Jesus.
Woo-wee. Miller and Moulton.
What is this, Dolphin Stadium and Shula's letting the grass grow?
I was going to say, what is George Toma at work here? Take it easy, boys. Take it easy. Our poll question, though, final round of the Masters or week whatever the NFL. That's Sunday, November 15th. If you could only watch one, which one will you be watching, the Masters or the NFL? And the vote is pretty much right down the middle. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Pat Kerwin joins us next here on Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
The coronavirus has changed our lives.
COVID-19
You're clear.
can be characterized as a pandemic.
He never did
Who would
answer.
have ever thought we'd see a day when sports would stop?
It's not about your brackets or who's going to win March Madness. It's sort of
Yeah, I know we had the right number, too, because he had his name on his
Keep you
voicemail.
informed on all the latest coronavirus information through our partners at Wink News.
The number of cases of coronavirus in the state.
And for the latest in our ever-changing sports world.
It looks as if the Olympics are going to be postponed.
Count on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
At Naples Nissan, the answer is yes. Yes, we're open, and you can still get the original base MSRP for your trade-in. Yes, your new Nissan will come with a full tank of gas for the next year and our exclusive unlimited mile lifetime warranty. And yes, absolutely yes, our entire team is fully committed to doing everything we can to help keep our entire Southwest Florida community healthy and safe. If your trade-in is less than 8 years old with less than 80,000 miles on it, we'll still pay you what you paid for it so you can drive home in a brand new, disinfected Nissan today. That's right, folks. Every new Nissan that leaves our lot will be treated with our long-term antimicrobial sanitizer. It's like a flu shot for your car. Plus, a full tank of gas on us for the next year. To learn more about everything we're saying yes to, come see us on Pine Ridge Road or visit naplesnissan.com. Yes, offers are on select models with approved credit, and yes, they can be combined.
We're on the phone with our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tec to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tec for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tec in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec Stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec Wood. Look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
You own a home with a tile or shingle roof? You live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson with Williamson Brothers Roofing. If you answered yes to either question, it's very likely your roof suffered damage from Hurricane Irma that's not visible from the ground, and you may very well be entitled to a new roof for little or no money out of pocket. But you only have a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us at 239-283-2013. It's a free, no-obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you. Call us at 239-283-2013. Again, time is running out. Call us at 239-283-2013. Williamson Brothers Roofing specializes in the claims process. We have experts standing by. We get claims approved. 239-283-2013.
I'm a busy person.
Catch the show anytime.
Check out millerandmoulton.com and subscribe to the daily podcasts.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. LED color-changing pool lights can create an after-dark backyard oasis. Pick your color or select one of the light shows. You can see how dramatic it really is on our website. We're a family company. And for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133.
State certified CPC 057088.
Ever purchased an online item and either it doesn't fit, has missing parts, or became damaged? Trying to save a few bucks can end up costing more. My Shower Door is a locally owned and operated family business that measures, manufactures, and installs our own brand of frameless shower doors right here in Southwest Florida. And we were just named Lee County's
Guest is online and
Manufacturer
ready.
of the Year. With almost 80,000 shower doors installed, we have the experience and expertise. Plus, estimates are always free. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
And as we approach the final half hour of Miller and Moulton on this first Tuesday of April, it's a pleasure once again to welcome Pat Kerwin of NFL Radio, moving the chains weekday afternoons from 3 to 7, and one day again he'll be part of CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us on the Goldberg, New and Abraham Law Firm hotline, goldberg-law.com. Pat, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine, fellas, and closing in on that draft. That's going to happen no matter what. So very interesting times. Talked to Pete Carroll about it yesterday, and we really got into the troubles of trying to orchestrate trades during the draft, which Seattle loves doing. And there's some trepidation on his part that it's going to be able to happen and be constructive enough to get a trade done. So those are just one of the issues that's going to surface here when we try to run this draft in a few days.
And I can sense with every time we talk to Pat, the level of disgust in his voice increases ever so slightly. We talk twice a week, but from where this began, Pat was logical. Pat was just speaking. And now every time he talks, I sense that he's no longer being logical. He's getting angrier because he senses no logic from the other side. But Pat, given the fact that you started out by saying, well, the draft's going to go on, has anyone you talked to heard anything about what David had asked so many times, extending the times between picks? So these logistical things that coaches and general managers have concerns about can be addressed, or so far, are we still with the 12 minutes between first-round picks and we reduce it ever so much on days 2 and 3?
I think that they're reluctant to set up a policy that gives them a steadfast way out of the 12-minute barrier, the 5-minute barrier, and they're probably going to think they can deal with this one case at a time and say there's a technological issue and we'll be to this, get it back here in a minute. So I don't think they want to box themselves in now. Right before the draft, I suspect they'll be telling the GMs that they'll have some way to accommodate them if and only if technology is the problem. So someone said to me yesterday, well, why don't they just orchestrate the trades the night before, like Wednesday night to Thursday or Thursday morning? And I said, you never ran a draft, did you? And he said, no, of course not. That's why I called you. And I said, how do you know who's going to be on the board the night before when your turn comes? So many of these things are predicated on, well, the guy we want is now there. So you can't make those. You can set up a framework, as I've told you before, and we've discussed that, but confirming the trades the night before when you don't even know if your guy's going to be there is ridiculous. So, no, it's a problem. And Pete said yesterday, it was great listening to, because when I brought it up, he had clearly been thinking about it. He said, usually we sit in a room, I got 4 guys working 4 different teams to sell our pick, and we know what we want, and we're pushing one against the other, trying to get it the right deal for us, and they're doing the same thing. So how are you going to orchestrate all that with 4 guys at remote sites and the ability to get that information? So his description was, well, first there's 12 minutes, then before you know it, there's 6. Then there's 1 minute, and I hear 30 seconds, and we haven't gotten it done. which has happened many times. So I think some of the trades is going to fall apart, and you better be able to take a guy. And Pete brought up another whole point. Like, we found Doug Baldwin after the draft, and he became quite a great Seahawk for many, many years. He said, I don't know how we're going to do trying to find those undrafted kids. By the way, Seattle had 5 undrafted kids that they found after the draft, starting in their Super Bowl win. So they kind of rely on that group, and they've done very well in that group, and they're very unclear if they're going to be able to find those kind of guys this year. They just don't have the time and the resources to uncover many.
So that's it. It's not the problem in communicating after the draft is over with them. It's just that because they've been on the road a lot less, that they basically just haven't scouted sufficiently the same number of players that they normally do?
That is correct. Now, they've touched base with a lot of guys, but they have incomplete reports on almost all of them. And so, again, Pete said, look, we're not complaining. We're going to try to find a competitive edge. We're trying to find out, quote unquote, we're trying to find out stuff about guys right now. And that includes character issues. So they're making attempts to, they've got a nice big network. John Snyder has a big network of guys he trusts, pulling ADs and coaches and trying to find out. But so is everyone else. So will you find out the unique information that you personally as a team found out in the past to make your own decision? I always go to Frank Clark. Frank Clark was a very controversial pick for them, and people were shocked. And they were shocked before that when he picked Bruce Irvin. But they were able to uncover enough on those guys and spend enough time with them to feel very comfortable that they were getting a great player that they could manage, that wasn't going to fall off the deep end with character issues. How are you going to take those kind of guys if you haven't done all the work that they did? I'll never forget what Pete told me about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a nice college career, went to the Senior Bowl, did not distinguish himself in any way, shape, or form. In fact, a lot of people forgot he was even there. And he didn't play very well. But I always said, and I asked Pete, I said, when he was drafting him, I said, who are you going to take? He said, I'm taking the kid Wilson from Wisconsin. I said, I don't know. Did you watch the Senior Bowl? He goes, yeah, I was sitting next to you the whole time. I said, well, how did you come to this decision? And he said, I came to the decision because when we had him in, I fell in love with the guy. I thought the guy had it all. So we're not doing that. We're not bringing 30 guys in. And so many of the things that all of us would rely on to make decisions, whether it's running a football team or buying a house. Would you buy a house if you never walked through it once? I don't think you would, or your wife wouldn't anyway. So there's a lot of things that are changing and needs trying to change. But as we get closer, now that everyone has to be most likely everyone in their own homes, the hurdles are getting taller, not shorter.
Well, if I could just follow up quickly, Pat, do you think, therefore, it will lead to less trades, or it will just lead to more, well, quite frankly, less grinding and guys willing to accept a deal this year that they otherwise would not accept? Do you think we're either going to have simpler trades where guys go, I would have rather have given up a fourth than a third, but okay, let's do it? Or are we just going to have less trades because of it?
It's a good question. I don't know how guys, they could go in either direction there, but I do think that trades are going to happen only between guys I don't think if they don't adjust the time period, it's going to be very hard to run trade with somebody you've never traded with before. So Belichick has that army of guys that are running teams that are close to him. That's got, all kinds of possibilities. We can get one done with Detroit or Miami if we wanted to, or Tennessee, because we know those guys and we can get on the phone and get it done. But I think trying to get one done with the right team because they're in the right spot, but you've never dealt with them before, or they succumb to the pressure of the time and gathering their own information because everyone's in remote sites, and then of course now John Harbaugh, he ain't alone on this one, are worried about the security of Zoom, and they're worried about playbooks going out, and they're worried about people tapping into their own draft meetings, et cetera. So there's a lot of anxiety that's surfacing now that it's real and it's really going to happen. So I don't want to spend all day on it, but I just spent a lot of time with Pete on this subject yesterday, and it's kind of interesting. And by the way, congratulations to Pete with Belichick. Two guys I work for, coaches of the decade, and I should have stayed in the league.
You got that right. You got that right, Pat. That's now that I'm in agreement with on that one. I know it would certainly hurt this show, but it's a dadgum good point, as Coach Bowden
Come on,
said to us.
he wouldn't be golfing at 10 a.m. and going to Blades games if he was still grinding it in the league. Come on now.
Okay, well, I'm not going to any restaurants and I'm not going to any Blades games right now, so it's becoming clear to me that the guys that do football, that are the coaches of the decade who I work for, are working, and the restaurant and the beaches are not open, bro.
Right. You got that right. You're going to have to go to Marco to go to the beach. Pat, look, I'm just throwing this out there, and then we'll move from the draft. But when you were going through all these scenarios of trading with who you know, I just wondered, and this could be the dumbest question I've ever asked, but in the first round, sometimes we've seen in the past where players have been drafted and then traded. Do you see any scenarios at any point in days 2 or 3 where, Pat, I'm talking to you and you're running the Giants and I'm with the Lions and I'm like, I want Moulton. Can you just draft Moulton and we'll work out the trade here in the next half hour? Do you think there will be any trade and draft where to buy more time, or is there even more trust involved if you were to do something like that?
No, I don't see it in the day 2 or day 3, but the day 1, where we've seen it before, Rivers and Manning, that kind of thing. Do I see it? It's always possible. But, the contingencies are always stressful. Like, I'll draft Burrow, I'm just using the name, and then I'll trade to you if our guy is where you pick. So let's say you make a deal. You're halfway through it, and I don't think it's going to happen. But so Miami wants to go up, but Cincinnati doesn't really want to go down because they're not sure they're going to get their guy there. And those kind of things happen. Like, would they really move to 5 if they love Justin Herbert, but there's no guarantee he'll be there at 5? So what happens, I'll take Burrow, but if Herbert gets to you and you can draft Herbert, then we can switch, that kind of thing. Yeah, but I don't think you can do it because if Herbert wasn't there at 5, Cincinnati would say, hey, sorry, we're keeping Burrow. So there's a lot of things that can happen that don't make those happen. But it's not a dumb question. I think everyone's looking for a way to get to where they want to go. And if that works out like it did for the Chargers and the Giants, then it could happen. But I don't know. I think the best idea I heard all week, it was probably from you guys, was we should have 1 round a day, literally. With all the technological problems that could happen, and with nothing else going on, why don't we have the draft for 7 nights and 1 round a day, and we can manage the round with no stress of time and no complications, and a breather every night and morning and another night of draft? You think people watch for 7 days? I think they would, but I'd also think it would solve or prevent or protect the clubs from issues that could surface.
Pat, you mentioned the all-decade team, and the reason why I find this noteworthy is what we just went through with the big Hall of Fame class and how being on an all-decade team was actually the impetus for having the expanded class, that those running the Hall of Fame felt there were too many guys who were first-team or second-team all-decade who were not in the Hall of Fame, who should have been, and therefore that's why we opened it up to put 20 in. The unanimous selections, for those that missed it yesterday, were Tom Brady, J.J. Watt, Adrian Peterson, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Joe Thomas, Marshall Yanda, the recently retired Ravens guard, and Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. All but 2 of those players are currently active. Was just curious, there's a bunch of interest. The 2 quarterbacks were Brady and Rodgers. The 2 coaches were Belichick and Pete Carroll. The two tight ends were Gronk and Travis Kelce. Interesting selection at wide receiver with the big explosion that we had in the past decade. Is there anybody that you thought that they got it right or they got it wrong about? Because, it ends up being 55 guys end up being listed as first or second team all decade. And you have to look at like 30 of them as like, well, basically they got put in the Hall of Fame yesterday by this announcement.
Yeah, there's always a couple of issues. First up, how many things has Drew Brees done in a decade? And here's a guy that's never been the NFL MVP, which we discussed when the MVP stuff came out. And now he's not on the all-decade team, but he's going to be the all-time leading passer in the National Football League, and he's won his own Super Bowl. So I don't get leaving him off, number one. Number two, they decided no fullback, and I can make a case for Kyle Juszczyk. If you go look at his salary, he's at $5 million, a little over that. The next guy's at $1 million. There's 26 fullbacks under contract, and more teams are going back to a fullback. But this is a very unique player who's played 7 years of the decade, and I think they made a mistake leaving him off. You're going to go to 55. Why don't you go to 56 and honor a position that plays a role in the NFL? It's clear that stats drive these guys. Otherwise, they'd have a fullback. And so it bothers me that Juszczyk is not on the all-decade team. And then I wonder about the Sproles situation, the flex player. Well, first off, there's no one that plays the flex. That's not a real position. And so what was the definition of the flex? Does anyone know? Because I don't know. What's that mean, an extra guy? Does it mean a guy that catches the ball out of the backfield? What's it mean? He can touch his toes because he's flexible? I have no idea what it is. So those things, since you asked, always irk me. They're not major. They're just reality checks of what I think needed to be done in that area. And who are the wide receivers, David?
Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Larry Fitzgerald, and Antonio Brown.
Well, and Antonio, we all know he's somewhat of an idiot, but he was a great player, and he deserves to be on it. So I have no problem with that. So I'm not in this to decide if their character is worthy of being on it. It's really about what did you do for the decade. And so I have no problem with that. But I don't know. I said what I said. I didn't hear from you guys. Does Brees always get left out of everything while he's becoming maybe thought of as the greatest that ever threw the ball? So I don't understand that one.
Well, and what interested me was at running back. Adrian Peterson was unanimous, but the other three are Marshawn Lynch, Frank Gore, and LaShawn McCoy. And you get named
see Frank Gore.
Yeah, I see. But to me, Lynch and McCoy, now, are they Hall of Famers? You get named to an all-decade team. You basically, that makes you even if you're second team all-decade. If you're second team all-decade, Pat, you're basically a finalist for the Hall of Fame. That's a guarantee.
You are. Well, you're a finalist, but you and I were told, I believe all three of us were told, that we're not having this injection of 20 guys ever.
Nope.
They called it a one-time thing. So becoming a finalist, if we go count how many dudes were finalists that never got in, that's almost 1,000 guys. So I don't think it gets you into Canton, but your point's well taken, David. You now have a credential that makes you a finalist. But since they're not going to clean it up, or they claim they're not going to clean it up again. So I'll ask Mark this question. Mark, how many years of the decade do you think is the minimum you had to play to even be talked about at this?
I think 6.
I
think you've got to play over half the decade. Like, I don't buy the Koufax in the, like the 5-year thing. I don't. I think you have to play over half the decade to be on an all-decade team. I guess there could be exceptions. If Terrell Davis is 5 years, if you consider those the greatest 5 running back years ever, then maybe there are exceptions. But by and large, to me, there are very few people who in 5 years have ever done that. So I think you have to play 60% of the decade to be on the all-decade team.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I just wanted to hear from you. And to David, any issues with the two coaches? Did they leave a coach out that you can think of?
The only other guy, although actually, Tomlin's close, but actually he won it in 08 and got to it in 2010. So
Andy Reid? And I don't think he passes either of those. I think he'd be the honorable mention third.
Well, but by winning it at the end of the decade, all right, would that put him ahead of Pete?
I don't think so. So
why did I bring it? I brought it up because I think if we put a microscope on every position, including the coaches, we could come up with another guy. And I'm sure the committee had that challenge and had that discussion and had to think through before they arrived. So I always respect the guys that do the work. Khalil Mack, has he done enough? He's a nice player and he's big trade compensation. But I don't know. I was wondering when I looked at him, I wonder who else they were thinking about. Kuechly's easy, Chandler Jones. How about Belichick? I'm not paying that guy. I got rid of him. There he is on the all decade team.
Can I ask?
So I just bring up guys like Khalil Mack and wonder, did he do enough to be on that all decade team?
And I think this guy has obviously did enough to be on the all-decade team. But when David brought up the Hall of Fame, I'm just kind of looking through these names in my head. David and I do it every year with the finalists, and it's kind of funny now when we get to the finalists and do just a quick yes/no. We're mostly yes. But is J.J. Watt a Hall of Famer right now?
Yeah, he's done enough already. I thought he should have been the NFL MVP in his big year, and he didn't get it, which tells me that a defensive guy's never going to get it. He's starting to fade, which comes with injuries, or in his case. But there was a run there that was phenomenal, and it was way more than sacks. It was the passes defended alone was from another planet. So yeah, I do think he is, but I don't think Khalil Mack is going to rise to the level. And I'm not down on Khalil Mack, but I just found that interesting. I don't know if he did enough in my mind to get there.
Pat, appreciate your time and your insight. You and your family stay safe. Be well.
You too, guys. Be good, and hopefully this thing won't last all into the summer. We can always discuss that coming up next. NFL football this year.
Yeah, we'll have another Hall of Fame discussion on Friday. I think it'll be about the Hall of Fame game and what's going on there. Pat, be well. We'll talk Friday.
Take care, guys.
Pat Kerwin joining us once again on the Goldberg, New and Abraham Law Firm Hotline, goldberg-law.com. Pat's appearances are brought to you by Pinchers. From Tampa to Key West and many points in between, give them a call. All right, show on up. Pick up your Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. Miller and Moulton, the good, the better, and the best. And then today's version of Takeout Shoutout as we put this first Tuesday in April to bed on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports!
You're clear.
This is a special coronavirus update from Wink News.
I'm Therese O'Shea with Wink News. There are 25 new cases of coronavirus in Southwest Florida. 4 more people have died in our area, 2 in Lee, 1 in Collier, and 1 in DeSoto County, for a total of 14 deaths locally. Across the state, over 250 people have died, and the number of positive cases is now at 13,629. Marco Island is opening beach access at 1 entry point and 1 exit point starting next Monday from dawn until dusk. All county beaches in Southwest Florida counties are still closed. More children are testing positive for COVID-19. Doctors say genetics, immunity, and how each child's body depletes certain chemicals makes them more susceptible to getting the virus. President Trump will get an update on getting small businesses back to work. He's scheduled to address the nation tonight at 5 p.m. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News. Facts, not fear.
Great
Great news, Southwest Florida! Our service and parts departments are open for business. Now's a great time to bring your vehicle in for service at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers. Over 1,100 Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams in stock. 2019 Ram 1500 Tradesman. Now just $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month. And you own it. With interest-free financing for 84 months. Qualifying purchases with no payments for 90 days. Almost every 2020 Jeep Wrangler at friends and family below invoice pricing. Best of all, at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers, we offer at-home test drives and at-home delivery at your convenience. That's right, 0% APR financing for 84 months on new Rams, Jeeps, and Dodges. Plus, at-home test drives and at-home delivery. Call today, drive today at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. $29.99 down plus tax, tag, and dealer fee. $299 per month for 84 months at 0% APR. Excludes Rubicon. Offers don't combine.
This election season, there's only one candidate with a spotless resume and impeccable service record.
Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs is the obvious choice. Voted #2 in the nation by TripAdvisor, Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs does it right. Owner Todd Brooks and his staff are committed to providing the best burger experience and superior customer service. With favorites like the Donut Burger, which is a handcrafted burger between 2 glazed donuts and topped with American cheese and bacon, Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs are truly building the dream one burger at a time. 4 locations: downtown Naples, Vanderbilt Beach and 41, on the East Trail at 951 and 41, and their newest location in Logan Landings on Immokalee Road in North Naples. See why Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs deserves your vote today. Online at brooksburgers.com. Brooks Gourmet Burgers and Dogs, building the dream one burger at a time.
I'm Todd Brooks, and I approve this message.
No matter where you're voting, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year.